Faze, you've got to beat them, Des. They are never going to give you anything. So DARKZERO got to come out strong. Are they capable of that on Clubhouse? I definitely think that they are.
Well, it's their map picks. You're hoping they can start out strong. It does mean DARKZERO will kick things off on the attack. Faze on the defense. It is DARKZERO's map pick. Salt Lake City, it's time to get behind your boys. Can they do this? Let's find out here and now.
Gonna have the bands coming through then. We will see who we won't be seeing. First ones will come in. Cade, Monty, I was going to ask you if there's any surprises there, Mike, but I think I already know the answer.
Absolutely not. You know, Monty, just a classic operator for Clubhouse, clearing rafters, doing sweeps, and of course, I think the Bandit's going to come out here as well, yep. So, you know, just some classic operator bands. Obviously, the Thermite, especially on Clubhouse, are very effective at getting a lot of walls open now that he has 3 breach charges, so...
Interested to get your thoughts on that a little bit, Mike. The Cade and Bandit ban combo, it's something I've spoken about a little bit through the event. We've seen, you know, Pengu talking about it on socials. It's kind of, it seems like, you know, a few different camps about this because obviously we know that it's going to speed things up. That's the hope. You're going to get those breaches off easier. On a map like Clubhouse where there are alternatives, you've got soft floors that you can go underneath, you can clear out that Bandit, you can, you know, work a little bit. I get with the hatches a little bit, you know, you've got less options to the Cade, but it leaves you fighting Azami, Mirror, Legion, Fenrir, you know, all these traps, all this utility. What do you think about that trade-off there?
I think, obviously, because Clubhouse has a lot of exterior walls, you know, banding the Bandit and Kaid is just easy to open up and then get, you know, into the round straight away. But recently, there are teams now that if you don't ban the Kaid and the Bandit, they won't even run it. So, you know, teams that will run it, you'll definitely want to ban it against it. But of course, I think the meta right now is just the Kaid Bandit ban.
We've had the double ban for so long, teams are conditioned into not playing it. They're like, oh, we've not practiced it, it's never available.
It was like Mirror for the longest time, wasn't it? You know, Mirror was just banned out so consistently that even when she slipped through, nobody used it because nobody practiced with it.
Well, she is available for this round at least, Tim, and Handy for sure is pretty competent with that operator. It's very much a dug-in set up, this trifecta of the Architects, the Castle, the Azami, the Mirror being brought along by Faze. They want to make this bomb site really difficult for DARKZERO to work their way through. And if you look at it as well, Tim, 30 seconds in, we basically got no one roaming around the map, whereas traditionally on this map, we're used to seeing a lot of teams, and really in the current meta overall, a lot of roaming all around the map. Faze saying, nah, we know our game, we're going to play it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you look at a team like Faze, if anybody's going to get it done in any situation, it's going to be them. But, you know, again, coming to you there, Mike, like, when you're not committing to the map here, you're basically giving DARKZERO minutes to wear you down. And we've got some super powerful utility on the attackers. You're going to have to deal with the Grim, the Ying, the Blackbeard, all pushing you into sight. Is that a little bit of a risk for Faze?
It's definitely a risk for Faze, as we see Cyber taking some damage, but on Clubhouse, you don't just want to give the whole map for free, which is why we see Cyber taking fights with castle barricades on the first floor. Time is of the essence, and as a defender, especially on Clubhouse, you want to waste as much time as you can, so when the execute does come out, it might not be as easy to execute on.
I'd say so far so good. They've chewed through a lot of the drones on this attacking side, and Cyber still hasn't gone down towards site. Instead, he's very much put himself at the end of a hallway, Tim. If they know that he's here, this would get messy, and he gets rid of one. They missed out on the chance to pick him off there. If they'd known that he was there, it would have been beautiful, but counting those drones, they know that they had no idea the castle was there.
And it was the Blackbeard that he's taken down. Removing that shield from the lineup is going to be a big pain point for DARKZERO now. Nua's taking a lot of damage on the sledge. He can't really be going into gunfights like this. One bullet is going to see the end of him, so he also needs to be careful. Faze, I think 2 minutes wasted and a Blackbeard down, they're going to be happy with what they got out of that castle.
Honestly, really good job from Cyber there, playing in a rack corner and kitchen hallway, getting a pick, especially on the basement, where there are so many, you know, positions that you have to cover as a defender, is honestly a really big win for Faze, in my opinion.
Here we go, Ying's being dropped down, smoke coming through as well as the hit comes on through. Falls the first to fall inside of the Noto. Deals at least the first of those FNATs, but Nua's getting rid of Bitter King. A 4v3 for DARKZERO, as long as they can find another Tim. No! Handy doing work on that Mirror. Good for one, good for two. He's just a bit too good sometimes, Tim, but Nua's collects the second. Souls in a 1v2, our Clutch King.
If you're going to hide behind something, it better be something a little bit tougher than that bar. 1 versus 1, Souls having picked up Nua's. We know that Souls is just the Clutch King! He comes out with another one! Absolutely delivering again and again for this team. I'm not even talking here in Salt Lake. Souls has been delivering up clutches like that for years, and he just doesn't stop.
Honestly, great work from Faze there, getting the pick at the start in a 4v4 situation for the basement. They're using their utility excellently with the Azamis on side especially, and just playing around their reinforcements really well.
A quick tech pause here, but Tim, I think that first round was, a very good representation of the experience many teams in Salt Lake have had when they've come up against Faze. They have been flawless so far. And in fact, in speaking to Sravuni earlier on, no team has gone on and had an invincible run, not dropping a single map at a tournament. Faze could be on their way there if they get a 2-0 here. The closest was G2 back at Raleigh. Got to the final and then lost it 3-1.
There's a lot of firsts available for Faze here. You know, you might look at it and think, well, they just keep coming out and winning things, but it's not about that. You know, we look at this, teams have not historically followed up well from SI. They have the opportunity to be the first one to win that next top-tier event. We've never had that from an SI winner. Usually, they will go on to that next event and not be successful. Faze with an opportunity, and you know, we talk about Faze a lot, we talk about the word dynasty a lot, we talked about it with that W7M/Furia roster. We now have to start talking about it for Faze. I don't think that we're quite there yet with this roster. You can't turn up and just win one thing once a year and, you know, call yourself a dynasty. They've done very well with the back-to-back SI, don't get me wrong, but something like this, backing it up, following it up with a major and just really starting to cement themselves, I think that starts opening that conversation up.
Do you think if they win this event, they now declare themselves as the best team of all time, Mac?
Well, no team, correct me if I'm wrong, has won an SI and then won the next major.
Yeah,
Nothing.
So they've got 2 SIs and then potentially a major afterwards. Obviously, G2 Penta had that dominant phase in 2018, but
they still lost the Pro League final following SI.
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? I don't know.
I think 2 major wins, or a major win in an SI, will, in my opinion, solidify them as the best.
Oh, they're very, very close. They've got another map to go, and then they're all well and good. One more match tomorrow, maybe, assuming they get the job done here. But I'm sure DARKZERO have got something to say about it. We had a chat with Call Out behind the scenes before we got into this game, and he said, you can't just spring things on Faze and surprise them with rushes. They always seem to be ready, but it feels to me, Tim, they might be trying to catch them out from underneath here. 2 of them slowly crawling their way through. Newers and Faults working their way up, maybe able to catch the player on main stairs.
The thing is, like you say, it's going to be maybe catching them out on main stairs. That's going to be your best hope, because for now, all of Faze are up on that top floor, so there's nothing really to be gained from the basement at the minute. They've backed out of there. I think there might have been a concern that there was somebody down there.
I think it's just a classic bait and switch that they come up to the stairs here.
Oh, up nice and close. Newers shotgun at the ready on that sledge. Doesn't quite find his man is Cyber with a knife through the smoke on towards Kino. A trade back the other side as Newers gets 1. They make it 3. DARKZERO have exploded forward, consumed the majority of that Faze lineup. It's a 3v2.
The problem that they've got at the minute is they split in half between Bitter King and KDS. You've got KDS out on catwalk. Problem solved as J90 and Newers pick up 1 apiece. And, well, Faze crumbled partway through that round.
Honestly, a very interesting attack there from DARKZERO. Usually you have the garage-sided sweep, you have the gym-sided sweep. DARKZERO, they're faking the gym-sided sweep and then actually just coming straight up the stairs onto site, and Faze just not ready for it at all because they were putting the numbers on the gym side.
Not quite a bait and switch, but certainly enough there that it caught them off guard. Tim, and again, Call Out was saying it is hard to surprise Faze. They've just done a pretty good job, I'd say, in round 2.
Yeah, not an easy thing to achieve whatsoever, but I think the other problem is once you get away with it once you maybe surprise them, kind of put them on alert, don't you? You know, they're ready for it then. They're thinking, what's the other alternatives that we need to be prepped for? They're going to see them going back to gym and bedroom. They're going to be looking to hold that top floor again.
Query for you here is Mag as well, because obviously you've done a lot of work with Enterprise as their coach. And the op-ban system changed last year too. You're looking at this game, how it's gone so far across these 3 rounds. You've seen the picks that both teams have come away with. If you're looking at this, what are you saying needs to disappear in the next round?
That's honestly a really tough question. Maybe the mirror needs to go. They've run it every single round, especially because of the thermite ban. You can impact trick, say, the ace charges and whatnot. And honestly, though, on defense, though, it is tough of what you guys want to ban on, you know, DZ's attacking side, because they've just run these sort of one-off strats. Obviously, a lot of prep work has gone into this game for DARKZERO looking at these rounds, so definitely a mirror ban would be my ban for DARKZERO.
I know you've had this event stood behind the team. Do you ever see them sat on stage and just think, man, I wish that were me again?
I've had...
You ever get the itch?
I've had the itch before, especially if, you know, we're making mistakes and making the wrong calls. It's like, no, if I was there, I would have done this sort of type things. But no, honestly, the boys are really good. You know, a lot of talented young people on my team, and, you know, I've put my trust in them, so I just let them play.
They did a great job throughout the event. Well, here, it's about these two. This third round going to be the one that settles the tiebreaker for that first quarter. Whether or not we see a strong attacking start, because we saw the stats before it, Tim. Best attacking team at the tournament, DARKZERO. Best defending team, Faze. It's the unstoppable force, the immovable object, like quandary there. Who comes out on top?
Interestingly, Faze have actually just completely shifted on the top floor. After only a minute, they've been forced away from cash, red stairs, construction. It's all empty at the minute, and it is there for the taking. But DARKZERO don't have anybody there to take it. They've opened CCTV wall, and that's enough for them. The focus instead is coming on the Jacuzzi side. Faze are ready for it, but it doesn't matter, because Fultz manages to find that opening gunfight. Picks up Handy, takes him off the board, 5 versus 4.
Even though the server side is free, no attacker, no defender is there. Very interestingly enough, Faze has just decided to go back to site and bunker. I think a lot of ghost pressure as well is in the meta, so you'd open a certain side and then go the other way. But here comes a Demos from below. Very nice, you know, use of the Azami there, so he cannot get shot from below.
Of course, can shoot through it eventually, or a nade might not be too bad a shout either. Up it comes, and sure enough, there's Cyber on Takina, but it trades him. At least the response is there.
Fultz has made a move as well. He's actually rotated himself over, and he's going to be moving into cash any second now. If he comes through into construction onto that door, I think it's going to be a big surprise for Faze. We spoke about how difficult they can be to surprise, but there could be one in the pipeline at the minute. Souls thinking about this construction window. Is he aware? Yes. They must have picked that up. Maybe a sound call, maybe a bit of intel that's told him that Fultz is pushing forward. So angle is being held. A little bit of progress being made on main stairs. A Jacuzzi breach by DARKZERO here. The net is tightening down.
Let's all go now though, Tim, because time is starting to run short. That clock becomes a 6th man, but they've got KDS all on his own with 15 seconds to go. Fultz finds what he needs. DARKZERO showing their attacking prowess with a 2-1 start.
Really nice from DARKZERO there, Mag. Just the way that they adapted midway through the round. Fultz rotated, and then they just brought this circle ever tighter and tighter in, forced Faze together, and then picked them off one at a time.
Honestly, just great siege from DARKZERO. Obviously, the highest attacking win rate team at the event, and just the way they were able to, you know, open everything up, have a look at what's weak, and then just hit it is just actually just incredible to watch.
Now we get to see the adaptation, and sure enough, that Mira ban has come on through, played in all 3 of those rounds by 3 unique players. It's worth highlighting on the side of Faze, and on the other, it's going to be the Grim being taken away, which also saw play across all 3 of those rounds.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise, we know how powerful Grim is on the attack. You know, it just makes it so difficult to move defenders around, to rotate if you need to, sometimes to retake ground, because you're just going to find yourself at such a disadvantage if you need to move through those beats. So we head back on the same rotation for Faze. Back down to Church and Arsenal we go, and they will be, again, looking to hold on without too much of a top floor presence, I don't think, although saying that, Handy has just gone all the way up to top on that men's stairs.
Really curious to hear your take on this as well, Mag. Well, we haven't seen Snake played in any of those first 3 rounds, and now that the Grims come in, bam, straight away on towards the Snake. The impression we've got is that teams will often not play something for 3 rounds, wait until that third ban comes in, then turn around and play it. Is that what you guys do over at Enterprise as well?
That is definitely something that we do. Obviously, it comes with that third ban. In this case, you know, I think they're running the Snake purely because they are running a huge roam setup. But that is definitely something that we do, and a lot of teams do here at this tournament too.
I think your guy's second most played operator at this event until yesterday was Snake as well, behind just the Ace. Obviously very, very powerful in the current meta, as you say, because we're seeing this heavy trap meta that has developed. And sure enough, Faze, they have mixed things up compared to round 1, Tim. Not playing that turtle setup we saw before. They're out in the map and looking to engage DARKZERO everywhere.
Just sticking with that Snake theme for a second, Mag, are you tending to use that as just like complete solo clearance, or is there a little bit of droning still happening with him? What's the reliance on that gadget like?
The only time you'd actually drone if there was, say, like a mute on the team, but otherwise, Snake is just so overpowered at solo clearing things, as we see even viewers here get in these sort of power positions as Souls gets a kill on Kaino.
Ouch. Not ideal to lose down a shield so early on here in the round. It's not even 60 seconds gone by Tim, and that's a lot of pressure they'll lose coming down dirt. Look, you can put the blitz down there for that as well, but there's a reason you've got the 2 shields on side. You want the Blackbeard to be the one pushing down with those nades, clearing the way through slowly, and normally looking towards a blitz to hit somewhere else at the same time. That's not an option anymore.
Yeah, we know that Kino is going to regularly bring those shields. It's not something they've actually had too much value from. He was the opening death as well the last time that they were attacking onto this site, so we are still yet to see DARKZERO have that Blackbeard available to them. We see that utility inside a site, forcing the blitz deeper. Fultz gets taken out, J9O down as well, leaves us a couple going down for Faze along the way, but effectively 2v2, Newer's super low health. There's a lot of time on the clock, but you feel like Faze still in the driving seat.
Super low health, but potentially on for an ace here as well. He's got a triple in the round. He finds the final 2. This place is gonna erupt. J9O, I think, recoverable. He is bottom of main stairs tucked in, so it might be a tough one. However, has got a teammate come in, but Tim, uncharacteristic from Souls to miss a couple of free shots, and they arguably paid the price. That impact should be enough to get J9O finished off. Great play by Souls, but that's another 30 seconds gone.
The Snake is still alive, so even if they don't have any drones, they can still get information, as we see here from Noise as he goes in. Sees
absolutely everything. Like you say, it's 1 HP and a dream. Could be on for the ace if he can find either. They've already moved away here just to make sure he hasn't got the full read on them. But again, another scan comes on through as KDS finds NGR just as it appears on the screen in front of him. It's a big moment for Newers. One to his left and one towards his right. It feels like a tall ass Tim.
You know where they are. The question is, can you do anything about it? Almost full health on the side of Faze as well. You really feel like it's a matter of time. That man again, Souls, steps up, so solid, so stable. Manages to close out that round. It's going to be Faze leveling things up, 2-2.
Not only is Snake very effective at clearing the roams or going for backstabs, but even just then in that 2v2 situation, he can just see where the team is.
Tava lá, no banco do dinheiro. Vamos fazer para primeira play avançada, só que, Vitor, reforça aquela parede da construção pra... Só não faz ali construção, tá ligado? Pro dinheiro. Fechou? E o Souls pega um mute ali pra poder peitar pelo menos um pouquinho avançada lá e depois você recua. A gente vai jogar basicamente lá recuada daquele jeito antigo que a gente jogava, lembra? Aí
É o Arden?
Tu pode ser o Arden e o Rede pode pegar o Ferri pra não tomar essa surpresa aí de fora de timing.
Tá.
Fechou?
Tá bom.
E a academia? Na academia a gente pode manter praticamente o meu planejamento ali da fazenda da garagem. A gente tenta pegar uma info um pouco mais avançada e depois a gente recua.
Vai querer que faça pixel nessa do dinheiro agora ou não?
Agora.
Ou reforça?
Bora.
What people don't know, Mag, is we brought you onto this TriCast because of your impeccable understanding of Portuguese. You're fucking... I'm joking! I wish I'd caught that in a frame. That'll be the loop next week. I'm joking, don't worry. Obviously, we can't understand Portuguese, and not much of a clue about what was said. Maybe we'll get a translation come through in our chat soon. But just to recap those first 4 rounds, we've had 2 apiece so far, both playing exactly as you'd expect, both really wanting to get this over the line.
If that's your tactical timeout there, Mag, what are you saying to the team at this point? 2-2, pretty solid, you know, even either side. What do you think they're trying to inject there?
I think maybe Faze has the read that, you know, DZ are using a lot of these one-off plays, maybe even countering what Faze usually play. Maybe Faze might start getting even more aggressive on these defenses because they have been, especially on the Jim Bond side, just giving too much up to the attackers. So I think once we watch these next 2 rounds, we'll have an idea of exactly what their coach said during the timeout.
One thing I love about DZ throughout this tournament, Tim, I don't know about you, it's felt like watching like perfectly played strategical siege at times. Like it's like watching a game of chess at points. And I think coming up against Faze, it's a perfect match in that regard. It really is a case of who can execute down to the millisecond better than the other.
Yeah, they're a team that I really enjoy watching at the minute. I enjoyed what I saw of them through kickoff. You know, obviously it's a roster that's been put together in March. It's kind of, you know, almost, I won't say come out of nowhere. You know, we know,
SSG core, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we know these players. We know how good they are. But the way that they've been able to build this so quickly, so consistently, when you look at maybe some of the other rosters that have had changes and how they've had a little bit of difficulty getting running, it is really, really impressive. And DARKZERO continue to do that here. They've got the opening breach sorted. So that CCTV breach done. Cyber is a push going to be playing on Cash Door, but no more aggressively than that. So next step looks like clearing that garage catwalk.
Very interesting sensors thrown here by Bolts, is it?
Bolts, yeah.
I'm actually going to think that they're going to run through the breach or just use it as a bait, and Newers will, you know, flank up the main stairs. But for now, they're just applying pressure, pushing and pulling the defenders and see, you know, what will eventually open up.
Let's force KDS back at the very least. So while they haven't got full control of Catwalk just yet, he is still in there. He has been forced way back to the top corner.
Just going to continue trying to fight over this raft at the minute. KDS is holding on really well here. He's got the breach open behind him. He's got drones coming up the stairs. He's being pushed from either side. He's got Capitao bolts coming in. And somehow KDS continues to fight inside of that round.
Oh, I thought he'd get away there for a second as he vaulted over the balcony, but no, just caught by the tail end of the nade. And I think Newers is now starting to make his move underneath Tim.
Yeah, he is. He was just coming in from the basement. He's moved up main stairs and he's going to get himself through into lounges on the snake. We'll see what impact he can have. Maybe a little late red stairs push coming in from him.
It looked like Newers was posturing to hit the back, but after getting that first pick, they just want to, you know, send all of the numbers onto the one side and make sure no one is below for that crucial C4.
Newers has been waiting for the hatch for the most part, but Fultz is in. All the utility coming out, as you can see, the F-Nut going down. The C4 comes over and gets two. The man in the breach, as well as the plant going down. A beautifully placed C4 from Cyber. A 4v2 breaking out and Faze Tim, and look like they're in a great position to jump ahead here and take themselves up to 3 and 2, but just wait. They've got one back. They've still got a shield on side. Jane, I know, a bit of smoke in back pocket that he can work with here if necessary. This is looking rough, and there's still a C4 from Souls. No, he's finished off. The C4's offline, down to a 2. This is doable.
There's a real opportunity. 15 seconds left to go. They need to recover this diffuser. That's what Kino's going to do. And that kill gives an opportunity now to put it down. We're effectively 1v1 while Kino goes to the plant. It is all up to J90 to cover his teammate now. The shield is up, and all of a sudden, it's a huge advantage for DARKZERO. Kino, J90 have played this absolutely to perfection.
Wow.
They find the final kill, and what a turnaround for DARKZERO!
Beautifully played by the attackers here in the 2v4. That C4 from Cyber got them back in the driving seat, but as we saw, Faze getting a bit too aggressive, not waiting for the plant, for the 4v1 possibly, and just really well played from the attackers in the 2v4.
You boys have won a lot of clutches this event. Now, I imagine there's been a few moments that you've looked at and just gone, oh, we were 5v3 or we were 4v2 or even 3v1 and it's gone wrong. What do you think in those moments? What do you often see being the cause for these things that go wrong?
I'd definitely say not playing together. 3-2-1s, we talk about a lot. I think, you know, Faze just not playing the round together, even a win condition. You know, we need to make sure we set win conditions on defense. How are we going to win the round so everyone is on the same page?
At what point are you setting that win condition, Mike? When's that conversation happening? Is that kind of like beginning of the round, you've all got an idea in your mind and maybe then that has to be switched? Or is it kind of that last 20, 30 seconds, right, here's confirmation of what we're going for?
Honestly, it's just because the game is Siege, it can be at any point in the round. It can be in the start of the round, it can be at the end of the round. If you kill a hard breacher, you know, at the start of the round, that changes the round drastically. It's just about calling anything so everyone gets on the same page.
You've heard a few teams say, you've heard a few coaches as well throughout the event say, we're trying to do 2 or 3 different things at once here, but not on the same page. In fact, we heard it in the Twisted Minds game from you guys yesterday. We heard them speaking about it during one of their timeouts as well.
Something that really resonated with our team, and especially our IGL Pyro, was Fabian's talk with the G2 roster about, you know, we're all in different waves, so we just need to be on the same wave.
Tell you what, that man's impact. It spreads worldwide. I don't know where he's coaching.
It is far-reaching.
All right, let's see if DARKZERO can get a 4-2. This would be a dream because, yeah, we had Twisted Minds playing earlier, and I said, for me, they've been phenomenal at attacking this map throughout the event. They took 4 rounds away against G2, 4 rounds away against Enterprise, 3 rounds in the series earlier on today. DARKZERO looking to repeat that and maintain that mantle as best attacking team.
Just remember that Rotero drone that we've just seen there. That's softening up main stairs to give an avenue, to give an option for later on in the round. It may not be that DARKZERO use it, but it's worth keeping in the back of your mind. It's largely going to depend on what happens with Faze. If they get pushed away from main stairs, it's something now that DARKZERO can take advantage of, and I like that. They're setting up options for themselves. You know, so if they do go for a cash clearance and it's not working, maybe we can put a bit of pressure on main and create a bit of space for ourselves.
Honestly, in today's Siege, creating these opportunities at the start of the round so you can use them later in the round is the meta right now. If it's not working, you always have to be, you know, wary that you can use these other avenues. And especially as a defender, someone has to be watching those main stairs or someone will creep up.
It's often hear about this trap meta being designed to control the gaps that often exist in defenses because you have to control so much of the map, and 4 or 5 players can't do that all by themselves. The traps do often help. Even if it's barbed wire, it's still a form of slowing people down. KDS taking his charge on 4. Will he get a freebie here? Surely no! NJR misses him. Off towards the right. KDS with a freebie. Now has a chance to continue being aggressive. Control the cash DC is so important elsewhere. We get kills going back and forth, Tim. But right now, it's Faze in the driving seat.
I love that from KDS.
Wow.
How much work has he done for his team there? He might be down, but it doesn't matter because the round is practically won. He's wasted 2 minutes. He's got some slippery movement going on to find that kill onto the ace. He has done so much. And the rest of Faze now, what do? They all just back away. You know what? You come and find us, Newers. The work is up for you to do. Diffuser's down. You've got to get yourself all the way through the map. And meanwhile, what do Faze do? Sit back and hold those angles, Des. It's almost hands-off keyboard time. Just let him push us.
Faze just need to make sure that I take one by one like the last round and, you know, perfect shot by Souls at end the round.
It happens sometimes. It's always hard to pull off those big clutch situations, especially against a team as structured as Faze. In the round replay, we saw 2 players both stepping out there to look for the trade. It's all but guaranteed to get away with it outside of some magical god shots. But we go into our halftime. Let's have a listen to what the teams have got to say.
We're looking to flow on these guys pretty hard. They telegraph, fucking flow, contest them, hammer them hard. Yeah. Full hard hammer. On that attack F2, we were in control of every single round there. We were on sync with each other. So for whatever reason it does go back to overtime, just keep it incredibly simple. And if we're going for a cash overclear like that, Bulker, make sure that we're getting the fucking pressure from below. We have to have bottom red pressure. That was such a freebie if we had that.
So dumb. Yeah,
it's also too, like, realize what he's doing. Like, use Ba for like the lurk kind of pattern. I think he can do something similar as like wild card. Like he can use the snake, works across, identifies the fucking rat, then we just have the red guy and we're good to go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna get overtime though. I think we're gonna hammer here.
Yeah. We got this. You guys are actually loading tanks, bro.
What shot are you doing first, Smoke?
Cash Faze.
Cash phase?
Yeah.
Heard that. Bro, it's so weird. Oh, yeah. All the lights are fucking red, bro. I can't even see.
No, please.
Cash phase now.
Doc begins firing up right now, seeing those lights up there.
Dude, I can't stand these.
Vou focar pra matar o cara da AK primeiro, né? Depois eu plano. Se o Green passar, a gente faz a Face Soul, senão a gente vai fazer a Primador.
E o Sábio não fica parado lá na principal não, tá, sabe? Você tem que avançar pelo menos pro reforço lá, pra tomar C4.
Tá. Não, mas a Face Soul a gente vai fazer só se o Green passar, né? Sim.
Isso.
Essa aí, quem que vai ser a Ribana? Cadê?
Vai lá a Ribana do jogo.
Só na Play Maveco que eu sou.
Vai lá a Maveco do jogo. Bora aí.
Both teams wanted to say very little. That's not the first time we've seen Call Out really reflect on the first half rather than talking about what's coming up. Any thoughts on that, Mag?
Honestly, a little bit confusing for me. Maybe it's just
they don't want to share info is what I think.
That is also a possibility, especially for my team. We just forget about, you know, the previous half and only talk about the next half. Just to, you know, reset the mental and make sure everyone's focused on what we're going to do. As you know, another Monty Kaid ban for the first bans. Interestingly enough, DARKZERO, they said that they want to run their cash phase defense first. Interesting that they want to run the Faze defense against Faze, so we'll see how it turns out.
It's almost like they've got a bunch of prep in and they've got an idea to beat Faze here, Tim.
The thing is, everybody's got an idea of how to beat Faze, don't they? It's just about...
And then they play them.
Everyone's got a plan till they get punched in the face, Des. And
punched in the face?
Punched in the face, go on then. I'll give you that one. That's what it's all about, you know, it's yes, you can have the plans, it's about that delivery. I think so far, what I'm loving about this game is we've seen both teams delivering. These rounds are being won rather than lost a lot of the time, maybe outside of the 2v4, but DARKZERO definitely won that round, but you never win a 2v4 without the other team giving you the opportunity to win it as well. But yeah, on the by and large, I think both teams have been playing really good Siege, and it's shaping up for it to be a fantastic matchup so far. If DARKZERO can get this first one won, then we really do have that prospect of a three mapper.
Interesting from DARKZERO is that they are running the Tachanka instead of the smoke. Tachanka can, you know, waste time for a lot longer, and hoping that, yes, we're going to see the 2 top garage reinforcements. It's just, you know, the meta right now for the Azami to play up there to die. And what we will see is that Tachanka actually use his gadget above that reinforcement to stop any attackers opening that wall with any hard breach gadgets.
All right, well, let's see how long they can do that for. Time wasting may well be the name of the game. You know, Faze, you think of them as slow, structured, powerful juggernaut of a team, but not one that we say are ever particularly quick in their attacks. And they always get the job done, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're always up against the clock, but stalling them out may well be a way to find a few rounds away from them.
Cyber heading straight over to get the wall open into Jacuzzi. This is something else that we've seen change recently. We used to always see that bottom garage reinforced, being left soft a lot of the time now to afford extra reinforcements for Jacuzzi wall, for master bedroom wall, and we're seeing these much bigger extensions. The extensions aren't a new thing, but I think the size and commitment behind that master extension has definitely changed recently.
It's definitely changed recently. You just can't give the attackers master for free anymore, because once they take control of master, you have actually just nowhere to play on site, because they can also just take the garage side after. And, you know, as a defender, defending the master side with reinforcements, with gadgets, it's just really hard to attack into.
The patience by Souls here, even knowing someone's run out behind him, doesn't spin, expects the swing to come in, but knows the player off to his left has got no chance of being able to charge that far forward. Trusts his teammate to help him out more than anything. Nuas has very much slipped the net though, hasn't bothered coming up towards the pool table. And so that gives Souls a little bit of freedom to step away and take a challenge onto MJR, who's speaking about the importance of him to deny the breach in towards Catwalk. So far hasn't been particularly contested. A lot of fire to try and force Jano away. And Souls will get Kino. His Just Reward comes through. KDS one for himself. Faze, their patience pays off, Tim.
I think Kino's just learned a bit of a lesson there about playing with those DMRs. You really can't be peeking into them, but how about this? A missed opportunity from down in Oil Pit. What are the chances? Handy does manage to take down Nuas though. Faze, they just keep on rolling. They haven't even touched site yet, Mike.
Try as they might here, I think DARKZERO are against a rising tide. Cyber at least going down as we come to the last 30. The fire, you can see, starting to rain out from NJR. But now he's down too. It's a 4 versus 1. A C4 on towards the window, will miss. And now they know exactly where Fultz is. This one feels like it's going to come to a pretty bitter conclusion for DARKZERO. May have had a plan to try and get rid of Faze here, the Faze defense, but it's a flawless round for Faze in response.
Honestly, in a defense like that, where you have to waste time and you play the utility with the Tachanka, the C4s, you can even use the Thorn traps to deny the plant. Azami should be the only person dying in that situation. And, you know, Thorn peeking out there and dying was not good at all. Honestly, DARKZERO just not playing to the strength of that strategy in particular and dying one by one before they even go for the execute.
This moment I really like, because they had a couple of players trying to challenge on towards Souls, which to me showed at least they know where Souls is going to play. They've analysed how Faze attacked this round in particular, where they stick their players and what they've got to do about it. But even with Anua's run out, even with Kino trying to peek on through, even with Jane trying to be aggressive as well to try and trip Faze up, this is what Callout was saying. You can't really spring a surprise on them. You've got to beat them at the fundamentals.
Well, like you say, they've analysed Faze's attacks. They know where they're going to be coming from. I'm just wondering if they've actually analysed what happens when you put your face into a window against Faze. Because I think they've just found out firsthand it was a big risk coming in there from Kino. And I don't think, you know, it really stood to gain too much from it. I'm sure it'll be a lesson learned. They'll rein it back in. But well, I'd be concerned as a DARKZERO fan after that first defensive half, because Faze didn't just win. That wasn't just one fight against Thorn. They won every single fight. They forced those fights on their own terms, and they didn't even ever really need to get near site. Big problem for DARKZERO.
Hopefully DARKZERO, you know, have talked about that previous round and gone, guys, we're just peeking too aggressively, you know, peeking out these windows. We need to play to our operator lineup and to the gadgets and to the win condition.
Well, this round looks very much like it's, again, trying to waste a lot of time. We so commonly see this Cash CC extension for reasons that are well known by now. You want to try and hold on to Cash and CC because of the window that looks over this south balcony. If you don't have control of Cash CC, you've got to do what Souls is doing now. Be very, very careful. You've got to have players sometimes on the roof watching these windows. It just gives you 2 or 3 more things that you have to think about. So getting control of that hole, really important. It doesn't mean being inside the room necessarily. As you said many a time, Tim, sometimes it's about opening up the breach and just being able to see through to that window to ensure no defender can be on it.
Faze are moving pretty well here. Cyber's got himself underneath. He's now got control of Lounge, so they don't need to worry about any flanking or any pressure coming from Bar. You've got this pressure as well coming from Catwalk, KDS opening that long angle through into Cash. So Fultz has to be careful in this position here. He's moved himself through to red instead, but his movement is going to be hampered very, very soon. This net is going to tighten quickly.
Absolutely, but they'll try and waste as much time as they can. It's important not to lose too many players. You can get away with losing one here, but don't lose too many. If nothing else, get kills, and sure enough, they've got rid of the Grim on the other side. Normally so critical for hitting side that, as you can see, they've said, cool guys, we've got the kill, back away.
And that's perfect there. Yes, they've gotten the kill. They've identified. They don't want to stick around like that last round. They want to fall back. They want to play in their positions on site and angle delegate and make sure everything is covered.
Angle delegates. Right, I like that as well. As you can imagine, it's something we've heard before, but I quite like it as a phrase. Delegate off who's holding what angles. However, that does now mean they've conceded over control of Cash CC, so the south balcony is now much easier for Faze to play. That's why we've got Vidaking being sat on the window. A couple of players working their way in from the Cash CC side. Going for a bit of a surround here, Tim, but it looks like a big focus on the gym plan.
NJR underneath is one to remember. He's got Nitro in hand. He's playing in bar. He could be a big win condition here for DARKZERO, just to deny any plant opportunity. Elsewhere, though, J9O doing the work. They're hoping that you never have to use the mirror. But if they do need to, NJR makes sure he's in position to still do the job. Cyber drops down and finds the trade, but still, Faze on a real back foot here. DARKZERO, night and day different from that last round. 4 versus 2 now, Des.
Angle delegate, time to angle delegate. Let's get ourselves set in. You know there's only 2 on the other side. They can set up 2 separate 2v1s here if necessary. The nade will be a giveaway on where this push is coming from. And we go with Souls. We see now Bigging being the clutch in, but it's a lot to do against 4 on the other side. Right idea with his shots, but not quite finding the man. New is good for 3 in the round. DARKZERO with a convincing round 8.
Honestly, just great work from DARKZERO there, realizing their mistakes from the previous round and then straight away falling back after they got that first pick against Faze. Interestingly enough, because of the ace ban, there was a mute jammer actually on the jacuzzi wall. So late round, you know, there was no jacuzzi pressure, so it was a lot easier for the defenders to just watch the Cash side.
I love that entry as well. The teamwork between Newers and Fultz. Newers didn't take a single shot, didn't really announce his presence, whereas Fultz, he was busy. He was moving everywhere. He was fighting KDS on catwalk. He was taking shots from red door, taking shots from inside of Cash, but who got the kill? It was Newers, who just sat there waiting. It was an angle that it felt like Faze were unaware of. They were not prepared for that fight, and Newers just picked it up beautifully. And as you said, Mag, then it was just, yep, that's job done. We now fall back. Beautiful stuff from DARKZERO, great defense, and it looks again like we are just going to continue back and forward in this one.
What I like about this setup here, and I want to hear your thoughts on it as well, Matt, going in towards the mute, of course, blocking away those drones. They want to chew through as many as they can because they're playing a lot behind the Valkyrie, a lot behind the Soul. There's so much intel, but also intels and R available on their side here, all trying to slow Faze down.
Yes, the mute, obviously, to just mute up the drones that are coming from the top floor, but Cyber also known for his Snake and Deimos, so definitely, you know, trying to counter Cyber in those picks as well. The Valkyrie as well is just a really great operator, especially for basement, for the retakes or even C4s.
What's your thought on when to bring one or the other? Don't see teams swapping between Deimos or the Snake. Any strong thoughts?
I think it depends on, you know, the player or mainly the site, what site you're attacking. You know, basement can't really, you know, take a backstab with Snake. You can only clear the map really quickly. And Deimos you can also just use to take gunfights and make sure to get players out of positions.
One more for map clear, one more for hitting site and winning out the gunfight. Shock Horror then. We stick Cyber on the hot gun here, of course. Once he gets that track coming on through, someone on the other side could be in a spot of hot bother if Nat sat on a mute drone. About 60 seconds in though, now starting to ask questions of this top floor. A lot of clearance work to do though, Tim.
Yeah, you got 3 still up there. Kino, Fultz, J9O, all looking to hold on to positions on top floor. J9O with the Azami on catwalk is the one that I'm watching. He's going to be tough to force out a position here, using those keeper barricades just to keep the breach at bay. This is all burning time. We're a minute 10 into the round, and Faze, they're yet to get in the map. Nobody, apart from Vidaking, down in Dirt Tunnel, but even that's kind of external. They are all outside here.
It's the aggression as well, right? Look, Nua's spraying in through the garage wall, trying to catch the man on front door. They're just trying to basically keep Faze outside the building for as long as they can. It's why they were committing keepers on towards the breach once it had been opened up. They really want to slow down the world champions here and make them think, but MJR is going to go down to a couple of gunshots and then get finished off by a nade from Vidaking. Uh-oh, oh boy, here we go. Souls on the cook. And into a 5 versus 2 Faze. Just a 75 second left, so let's go. Let's get inside right now, get the flood, take down what they need. Fultz might get one back. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too late to the party. I'm afraid it's going to be an ace or bust, and as you might expect, that was a bust.
Some great opportunity spotting there, Mag. Is that just a case of, look, there's room here down in the basement. They've got 3 on top floor. We go here.
Yes, absolutely. Faze doing a great job of not giving away the first pick and then identifying, where the defenders are and where the gap is. And that gap was bar. They had, the main door castled so they could just get an easy entry. And just honestly, really, really good mid-round adaptation from Faze to identify, where the open space is, where they can hit, and they just did it all together at once.
Easy timeout coming in here
Go back
because
to that base
things are
when you
looking
just
tough. Let's
normally
listen
go,
in.
you know, or fucking with the goes and dirt like we normally do. And then for cash, I don't know what you think, but I think we could do that same extension back. They're probably going to split off that. We could just put Ba on the Jaeger instead and give Jack the extra ADSs because we didn't ban the Captel. They're going to keep fucking hammering that off for the Raptor side. And that Jaeger will give us more time to actually react off that and then float back to like lounge side or just whatever, just like more time off that and kind of force them into a split, which they're going to go into our setup. So
for Kata, we bring Jaeger in the castle, we hard zone launch, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I still want to extend on the opposite side though, on the match.
Yeah,
side.
we are.
Yeah. Good. And then for basement, let's just honestly run our rumble. Let's bring the go in for the site side and then just play our normal lair because they are doing different shit that we talked about.
Yeah.
Which one
Right.
first?
Also,
Cash
too, that was a good
cash
job
base.
fighting on that.
Cash base.
Cash base?
Run the Azami Jaeger.
Yeah, I'll run the Jaeger.
So, as we have just heard from Callout, they're going to run the exact same chaos strat. Will the defenders die first? Azami should be the only one dying first, and after that, they need to just play with their util to deny the plant. So we'll see how DZ go about this a second time, but also, especially as an attacker, if you see the same setup again, you know where the enemy's going to play. You know where the weak spots are. So Faze also in an advantage in this situation.
I think what really worked last time for Faze, and they're showing it, especially I think in the first round of this half and then in the third, was we're just going to play really slow at the start. Let them pull off the madness they want to do. If they want to spawn peek us, if they want to try the crazy stuff, let them do it, and then we'll ramp up the tempo when it best suits us. Once you've got a couple of kills, or once we spot that there is a gap, and I forget who it was I spoke to last year. One of the coaches that were at this tournament, and we were having a conversation, and I was saying, what kind of style would you prefer playing against? Is it fast or slow? Like, what do you feel more equipped to beat? And they said, honestly, the frustration isn't in beating a slow team or a fast team. It's one that can change 2 styles in the middle of a round. Because you get all kind of in the tempo. Okay, they're playing slow. We can play slow to match it. And then bam, they go really fast. You come to scrambled, and you can't really deal with that sudden change in pressure. I think FaZe is showing that really well so far.
Let's keep an eye out for that entry then. The Azami is going to be returning to garage as we speak. You can just see the silhouette in the distance. Newa's going to be thinking about that catwalk, but it's actually going to be J90 on the Jaeger that's going to be positioned up there. But either way, that's the position that we're going to be looking at FaZe attacking onto. Kino, I'm sure, is going to be keeping his head out of windows this time, Des. He is on the master side of things. He is the one playing that extension. But as you say, Mike, at the minute, 45 seconds in, DARKZERO offering nothing at this point.
They are doing a really good job of staying alive. Interestingly enough, they left the thermite up. If there had been a thermite, but come on, Cypher is in.
Well, that's it. They're inside sight, right? They said, forget about the stuff from last time. Forget sitting around for half the round and waiting. Let's go quick. And it's absolutely torn them a new one. NJR is down. It's recoverable, as is J90. But it's such a risk when you've got the Lions scan coming out, when you've got the Dockerby call coming on through.
We're effectively 2 versus 3 at the minute. And I think the problem here is, can DARKZERO recover anybody realistically? There might be an opportunity for NJR. Kino's just getting there now, but he's very concerned about whether he's being watched or not. There you go, finished off by KDN. This is just absolutely clinical from FaZe, not letting him breathe at all. J90, he is for all intents and purposes done. There was no way he was getting up. It is all up to Newas on that Azami now to try and hold on from top red, Des.
Suffocating, aren't they? FaZe absolutely terrifying. Newas finding one. Expecting to get pushed, but it doesn't come on through. King still with a call available in back pocket. They can do something here. And the diffuser, by the way, is out in Jacuzzi. It is miles away. They want to play for kills, but he's got one. Has got to look for the last 1v1 onto Handy. He's 14-7 in the game. Surely, if anyone can do it, it's him.
Newas isn't necessarily going to know that diffuser isn't in hand here, so he's just trying to play a mixture, play for a little bit of time, but he also knows that he can't just give them sight. At least to his mind, he goes to try and get a little bit of ground back, hold that position top red, and he can't win the gunfight. FaZe, they close out a round that was probably a little bit closer than it should have been for them.
Honestly, you've hit the nail on the head there. The pacing by FaZe just then. They've started out, nice and slow, and then just Cyber just taking the gap and the whole FaZe team reacting off it. Honestly, DZ did a really good job at bringing it back, but unfortunately, they just couldn't pick up their teammates and ended up just being a 2v3.
I think that's what really Faze adapted to what they saw last time as well, identifying, okay, if they want to play this very heavy roam setup on the top floor, we've got 2 or 3 players out towards construction, gym, bedroom, we've got one that's sat playing inside a catwalk. One of them just go and hit side, get the breach open, 3 of us charge on through, make use of the scan to know who's in sight, and then from there, it was a straight breeze through for Cyber. It's often what we hear said about them. Cyber is that X factor. He's the one who kind of breaks away from the play style the other 4 do. He'll do his own thing. Do your best or die feels very relevant right now for DZ as we go towards him in bedroom. But again, Cyber is just that X factor. He will happily charge up and do his own thing. The other 4 are such a solid core that he can afford to be the risk taker in this lineup.
I'm interested to see how DZ are going to bounce back here. Obviously, they are facing, you know, the map point. So we'll see if they can reset after this and keep on going strong.
Last time around, we saw them defending gym and bedroom. It was actually a really, really good defense from DARKZERO. We spoke about it. We had Fultz and Newers out on Cash and Red. They held on to it beautifully. They are the 2 players tasked with holding that area again this time. Newers has, for the time being, been left alone out there. Maybe something that Faze could exploit. But DARKZERO's decision-making was great. Their timing was perfect. They kept that jacuzzi wall close, so they limited their exposure to pressure. Are they able to repeat that process? There's a little bit more at stake this time because, as you say, if they lose this one, then it is map done and we move on to bank.
Interestingly enough, there is no mute brought by DARKZERO on this round, so the jacuzzi wall right now is being opened by Cyber. The pressure will definitely be felt by the players on site.
Take cover. It's
Enough
hot.
to least them asking questions and being aware, like you say, that phantom pressure that can just appear from any window or any doorway or any wall that has been opened up. It's not always that there is a player there, but the fact that there could be one does occupy a little bit of brain space and a little bit of your attention. ADS being so patient, just waiting here for his team to get things moving elsewhere. And then we're going to see Faze pull off one of those classic hits at the same time where he hopes to hit them in the back, but they've got no idea what's coming.
Yeah, there's no real pressure from Faze on the Cash side at the minute. Apart from KDS holding that construction wall, they've decided this is all going to be jacuzzi, man.
The wall gets open. They are just putting a lot of pressure on the jacuzzi side. I will say Cyber has gone in.
It's gone for a march, yeah, top of main here. Kino just off towards his side, sees his man but can't quite find him. Good 2-way swing here, right idea. That's nice and aggressive from Kino. Gets rid of Cyber, that X factor the door's on about on the other side, but can they now bring down this very composed core of Faze?
Yeah, unusually for Faze, they're actually stalling out a little bit here. They were really trying to push that jacuzzi wall, but they've come up against an immovable object in DARKZERO, who've given them absolutely nothing. So they've rotated Baking around, but it comes back to bite them. I said that they hadn't applied any pressure, nor taken any ground in Cash, and that is exactly where they are hurt from. Fultz getting a job done, DARKZERO go flawless, and Salt Lake City just woke up.
Honestly, really, really well played there by DARKZERO, using the Azamis to, you know, block off single con, make sure they're, you know, knowing where the attackers are coming from. They're not rotating too much. You see, they kept the Goyo on that service side, so if anyone comes on those windows, they can kill them. Honestly, really, really well played there with especially the smoke coming out on the jacuzzi. Cyber ran in, and then he was left all alone. So DARKZERO, honestly, in a really pressured spot, managed to pull it out.
Well, we are 1 round away, Tim, from what could be an absolute battle in overtime if we get there. Salt Lake City, you may have heard the line a good few times historically. If we get there, we want you to say it with us. Tim, do remind us, what is that line that we say when we get there?
There's something about overtime, Des.
Is it about, like, it's something about us going there, right?
I think it might be.
So you guys can all stream it with us when we get to that point. DARKZERO will be 2 rounds on the bounce to see things back over the line. We go down to the basement. Didn't manage to get anything done there back in the 9th round. Only managed to secure a single kill. So hopefully here, things come out a little bit better. And I think the worry for me, Tim, they're roaming up around the map again. This is where Faze spotted that gap last time and exploded in towards the site.
Well, this is it. DARKZERO, Mag, they've really got to make sure that they don't give that opportunity to Faze this time. They can't allow that space. If they still want to play the roam, how do they go about avoiding that?
Honestly, I think just counting numbers on different areas of the map. So this time they're playing in kitchen with the hatch open with the Azami. So they can, you know, make sure that site is covered in that area. They just need to be careful of the gaps because Cyber is actually, he's gone off the snake and now playing IQ.
And the IQ there is both sign of respect as well. Didn't see it with the Valkyrie early, but I think here, knowing there's so many traps around the map, a lot to impede them, figuring out where the Solus is and what time they're trying to waste. So we'll be able to give a lot of information, even though he's not playing on one of those bread and butter operators like the Snake or like the Deimos, but they've got a stiff on towards Nuas, Tim, and he's been their kill leader all game long. Could go down for free.
You know that Cyber is going to go to take this fight. Nuas had just got himself out of trouble in time, though. He can play in behind that Kiba barricade. This next 20 seconds of this battle is critical, and Faze have dealt with it beautifully, forcing him away, but Fultz, he backs his man up. He manages to take Handy down, opening kill DARKZERO, and we could well be on the way to those extra rounds. It's 5 versus 4.
I don't think the Azami knows just how close he was to dying there. Obviously a great team play by Faze. Souls now gets the kill onto Fultz, and it's now in a 4v4.
Yeah, that's him on the Havana as well. Now tuck him back outside the map as well. This is the risk that you've got here. You've had the entry and then still stayed out around the map for the most part and may well pay the price here if not too careful. J90 still up here with Kino, the two of them playing together. And I think they want to try and find a way back down towards site here that is safe to go for. You've got to be careful because KDS is lurking around watching those storage stairs. So down through oil might be the safe plan. I think even realizing themselves that with the garage door shot out, it's not safe to go there either.
Kino still roaming on the top floor. Very interesting play. Obviously, having that top floor control while the enemies are below you is really strong. This back armory drone is quite a default drone, as Kanjan J90 spotted. I don't think he'd got it.
At least have a stiff on where they are though, right? This is the important part. You said about counting where players are throughout the round. Coming towards this last 60, it's 4 versus 4. King taking a little bit of chip here, has got himself right up on this dirt door, so feeding a lot of information himself, and they're looking in for a drop most likely, but King's the one with the diffuser. He's the one looking to go for the plant. Nuas though, find the kill they need.
A little bit of intel pinging out those positions. KDS manages to find J90, continues battling, but losing the Blackbeard is going to be big for this attack. NJR finds one, Kino another, NJR the last. And Des, we're going to overtime.
Well, well, well. It looked when it was 6-4 after 2 round wins in a row that Faze may have the answer to DARKZERO, but they battled their way back in. DZ remain on the defense, so things carry on as they are, but all 4 sites are available to them. Let's see if they can get the edge here and jump up to 7-6 mag.
I'm very interested to see where DZ goes. It still looks like they're talking about it. Gym bedroom will be the site. I wonder if they'll run the mute this time, because the thermite breaches were a problem and they are going to be running the mute.
From a team position here, what's your thought? Do you prefer to continue on the same side into overtime, or do you kind of want that switch, go from defense, get onto the attack and just freshen it up a bit, or?
If we're the team doing the comeback, I for sure want to stay on that side, but it is hard, on the other end, staying on the same side that you should have won on and then lost. So if other team coming up into overtime, staying on that, same side is obviously really good, but Clubhouse in general is a very defender-sided map.
Discovered the location of a bomb.
Oh, we've had that perfect 3-3 split, but the site we're going to here in round 13 is Gym Bedroom, as you say, and we've seen 2 defensive round wins from DARKZERO, a flawless in one of them as well, and in the other, Faze only found a single kill. So Tim, I'm not at all surprised to see DZ return into where they've had such success so far.
Let's see if they can continue it that time around. Faze were punished heavily for not taking control of cash and CCTV. We saw Fultz getting 2 kills from there. At the end of things, King and KDS, 1 taken down on balcony, 1 inside of cash. So Faze this time, I don't think they're going to be making that mistake again. Yes, they will go for the jacuzzi pressure, but they will surely apply a little bit more manpower onto this cash and CC hold.
Take cover!
I have been talking about, the mute stopping the thermite, but what a lot of people don't know is that if you just rappel up above the mute with thermite, you can just open the wall here.
Almost like he's demonstrating your point there, Mag.
Yep.
In perfect time. That's been the single con wall opened up as well, so they're going to get around and get everything done that they need to. We saw the difference, of course, in the bans earlier on. In fact, to ask you a question on it real quick, when would you ban a thermite, when would you ban an ace on this map? Because obviously both teams are taking different approaches.
It depends if you have the mirror up, because the mirror you can impact trick, like the thermite charges and the ace charges, and it is so easy to just throw aces on these extended breaches and then, open up the side even more. It just depends on what sort of attacking playstyle you want to do, but, Clubhouse with these outside positions, throwing the ace onto the inside positions, it's just way too easy to open up the map.
Again, Faze not looking at that cash and CCTV side at the minute. They are all stacked up around this jacuzzi side. It is very, very one-sided. They were punished heavily last time. Cyber manages to find Kino. Can Faze find a way? They're not using the balcony this time, which at least gives them a little bit more. Cyber walks in and does what Cyber does best. Finds another kill. Newers onto Handy. 4 versus 3. Still an age left on the clock. DARKZERO really under it now as Cyber picks up Newers.
Since when do you ever see a Thermite being the one to charge in and slaughter the entire enemy team, Tim? He's got 3 so far, looking for the 4th, as well as they've got full knowledge on what's going on. He may even get everything done himself this round, Tim. Plan going down at the same time, one coming back the other way. Soul's a bit too good, KDS as well. Great round by Faze and great opportunity spotting once again by Cyber.
It just doesn't matter what Cyber is playing. He gets the crucial operator on the site and then he just sends it because that is where the gap is. Crucially as well, Faze just following up on Cyber is actually the game-winning play just there. So honestly, the power positions for the site players in DARKZERO just have to be careful they don't fall too early.
I said that they'd had a fantastic couple of defensive rounds on Gym Bedroom, only losing 1 player across the previous 2 times, but that one was absolute slaughter. Now they've got an uphill battle. Faze going to take us down into the basement, where they managed to win it both times back in that first half. It was close in both, mind you. It did require a big clutch from Souls in round 1.
It did. It came down to, I think it was 1v2 at the end, if I remember rightly. It seems a long time ago now, 13 rounds back.
It's funny how these things have a way of coming around again, isn't it?
It really is. So let's see. Faze, during that round 1, if I remember rightly, they didn't actually play it out in the map. It's not been something they've done massively. They had Cyber kind of around kitchen corridor. That was it. That was their commitment. Everybody else was down inside of basement. I'm just having a look at the positions that they're taking up now, and it is much sort of similar to that, I think, except saying that Cyber, King now heading up to that 2nd floor, so maybe we see a little bit more commitment here from Faze to holding the map.
They do have the Solus, so they can deny a lot of info to play up on the top of the map. They have, you know, the Fenrir for side, the Goyo for side. I think this should be a fallback strat as Cyber going for a risky spawn peek on match point, but I don't think he'll be able to catch a DARKZERO player.
You're taking lessons from a Shom. Crucial round. Let's quick on a window and hope for the best. It was a very, very slight angle that he found, granted, but isn't going to be rewarded for it. However, I'm very confident he will look to waste as much time as possible out here on the roam. Even better yet, find himself a couple of kills. 13 and 10 in the game, matched only by Newers on the other side at 16 and 9. Certainly been the 2 standout players, Tim.
Oh, absolutely. The problem with Faze is you can just pick
3 of them
anybody.
over 10 kills.
You can just pick anybody. It's like, you know, in any given game, you can pick any of them and they'll be a standout player. And I think that's, you know, they're always the problem with going up against them. But let's see how DARKZERO are shaping up on this attack. They have got Newers just kind of wandering his way in underneath, but King is waiting ready. If Newers peeks his face out here, it could be a really bad start to the round. King can't quite react quickly enough.
But even if they get the kill, then it's a massive start for them. There'd be 5 versus 4 with over more than 2 minutes still to play. Worry, of course, is going to be what Cyber can do again. A chance just passing them by. This could have been a couple of kills they've had in the round, but instead, Faze can hold on. Newers, though, finally making his appearance. Here he is. Reaper comes out and gets one for himself. Cyber removed. 5v4 with more than half the round to play, Mag.
Huge pick there by, you know, DARKZERO. They still have the sledge alive. They didn't die to Valkyrie. And you were 17 and 9. They're just using the Deimos to, you know, put these defenders back onto the side, as a C4 also doesn't get anyone. Really, really looking good here for DARKZERO on their final attack round.
Really going to go all the way to 15 rounds here, Tim, do you think, between these 2?
Certainly looks like it could do. We're going to have the verticals now being opened up and used. Newers looking for the long angle. Doesn't manage to find any damage, but DARKZERO are doing some serious work on site. The problem that they've got, I was going to say the problem they've got is it's a little bit one-sided, but it's not, because J9O's rotated around. He's going to be in blue, and this is going to create some serious jeopardy for Faze now. They know they need to watch multiple angles, Mag.
Oh, the vertical here. This is the classic siege timing moment. If he looks down, it's a freebie, but no! He misses the shots and lets the Valkyrie away. 3rd time this round. DARKZERO have been a matter of pixels away from a kill. Will that come back to bite them in these dying 40 seconds?
It is a 4v5, so the defenders need to get a pick somewhere. There are just way too many avenues for the attackers here on the last round as Kano drops down.
Just going to be pushing in with the shield, takes the ground, J9O onto KDS. Here comes the final 20-second bloodbath down in Church and Arsenal, and it's DARKZERO firmly on top. 3 versus 1 as King manages to fight back, but surely short-lived as he's flashed out by Kino. We are going all the way to 15, Des!
Eddie and Chambers saying he wanted to hit that round on map 1, Tim, and it has delivered. Can't drive a wedge between these two teams. It has been dangerously close. And DARKZERO go on to the defense. Both teams finding success on their attacks in OT. It's been very much split throughout this map. As we've said, it's been that 3-3 half. So right now, it is an attacker-leaning club that we're seeing. You would slightly lean towards Faze, but DC have the full choice of sites. They're going to take us downstairs into the basement.
It looks like this time DARKZERO going for a site hold. They might put some U-Gemmers upstairs to waste time, especially if Cyber's going to play the Deimos or the Snake. And honestly, in a 7-7 on Clubhouse, Church and Arsenal is probably the most favored site you can go.
Heartbreak this.
So close.
First opportunity missed, of course, through a matter of pixels. He's stepping away at the wrong time. It's just, Bolts can do it all, Tim.
Just
Except kill for King. He can't do that.
Such a beautiful hot drop, wasn't it? Just sprinting across, down he goes, finds the kill, knew exactly where the man was. There was some serious intel from DARKZERO there. They were so prepped going down into that basement. That's why we saw Faze just kind of tumbling one after another. But just as a reminder to everybody, this is DARKZERO's map pick. The next one will be Faze's. Mac, how much does that impact you as a team if you come in and lose your map pick? We often talk about it and it's kind of, oh, they've lost their map, but really, are you kind of really just prepared to play all of them, or?
We are definitely ready to prepare all of them. Obviously, you know, teams like Twisted Minds on, say, Clubhouse, you sort of don't want to be losing your first map going into that, but as a pro team, you know, you should be confident on the maps that they're going to pick as well.
Still doesn't make it any easier. The good news, I guess, for DC going on to Bank, regardless of the outcome here, Tim, is that it is their favorite map. Faze is so confident on playing nearly every map in the pool. They say, you know what, we'll play you anywhere. We'll go to Bank. We feel comfortable there. We don't care that it's your most preferred map. For now, though, let's see how these next 2 minutes and 20 seconds play out, because that will determine who is just one map away from a match against Shopify in the grand final. The entry, though, is going to Souls. NJR falling down on that Goyo.
Ready to be deployed.
Very, very tough loss there. NJR going down early on a basement defense is going to hurt DARKZERO a lot. They're going to have to get aggressive. They're going to have to pick up the bird. They need to get a pick back or it's not going to go well in the last 30 seconds of the round.
Oh, I think you can just see the Reaper. Absolutely beautiful stuff there as well. Teamwork, that shield doing the work. King opening up the wall, giving the opportunity. 5 versus 4. And it is now DARKZERO completely turtled up inside a site. They are going to have no opportunity to get back upstairs. They're going to have no opportunity other than, as you say, Mike, to fight those verticals. They need to try and take at least 1 kill before Faze come to the point of dropping hatches and aggressing into site. The problem they've got with a man over now, Faze can push multiple sides. They can work from Moto. They can work from bottom stairs. They've got KDS over on blue. This is a big problem for the North Americans.
Still trying to dance around the C4 underneath at the same time. I think Colt's having been moved away slightly here. Can't afford to sit deep Arsenal anymore, else his life is forfeit. So very much saying, you want to open this hatch, you can open it up. We're confident we can still hold on with a lot of the utility in back pocket.
Interestingly enough, though, Faze, they might have thought that DARKZERO were roaming a lot more because we only see 2 hard breach gadgets on the attacker side of Faze. The C4 goes out and he gets faults.
Big to get Souls as well. Done all the work already, admittedly getting that floor opened up, but got the entry earlier on. One of the big players on their side, offline, 4v4 Tim, as we get towards the last 40.
It's ideal for DARKZERO. We've said it multiple times. They had to find kills on the vertical. They do exactly that, but Faze will continue moving forward, just grinding them down. Newers, he's going to pick up one onto Cyber. It was a little bit of fire that does the job for him. 3 versus 3. Anybody's right now. Handy manages to pick up J9O. 20 seconds left to go. King is inside, does have diffuser in hand. There's an option for him to put it down as Bolts will be taken out. Handy with a double to close down the round in the map, and that's going to be Faze 1-0 after they take the win on Clubhouse.
Faze, you know, they're in the deficit, they're in the disadvantage there, and they still managed to get the round win. It's honestly really impressive to see.
What's beautiful is, though, it's taken 15 rounds to determine who wins that first map. I know it's Faze's map pick going into our second, but something tells me this series still has a lot more to offer.
Oh, you know that it does. DARKZERO are a team absolutely capable of fighting back. They will go, they'll have a chat, and like Mike said, these teams, they are prepared to play anywhere. They're going to come back confident for Bank, I'm sure.
And we will as well, Tim. Back with you in just a few minutes.
the verdict you wanted on the end of map 1, your own map pick, but you were playing out of your mind. Any extra buff from having the family in the crowd here?
Yeah, a little bit. I'd say it helped a good amount, for sure.
Did you get to see them before the match and get any kind words, any words of wisdom from them?
No, I did see them yesterday, though, after my game, but that was about it.
Cyber, big map win to start this series. Is there any added pressure defending a world championship?
Ótima vitória no primeiro mapa, tem mais pressão defendendo esse campeonato sem seu ressai?
Não, acho que a gente está muito focado em querer ganhar, independente se a gente está com título ou não, o nosso foco é querer ganhar.
You expect the same to happen on map 2 with a win?
You expect the same? Você espera isso mesmo?
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Cyber.
Thank you so much.
Just a quick translation there, and this isn't from me. I wish I spoke Brazilian Portuguese, but the translator popped over and told us that Cyber said, nope, we don't feel any added pressure here at all. We know that we're the best and we're going to beat them. And that's what you'd expect him to say. These guys are the top of the top.
I mean, they were really confident. It really showed in those last overtime rounds from Faze on why they were able to just edge it out, because it really was a beautiful back and forth. But those overtime, to win both attacks on it, it really felt like it was perfect all the way until it was a 3 versus 3, and then immediately DZ gets a little over-aggressive, and boom, now it's a 3v1 in sight.
Listen, and we talk about the no added pressure coming outside of Cyber. We're going to highlight Cyber here in round 13. I mean, this goes to showcase that there is no pressure on his shoulders. Not only is he bringing the Thermite, opening up the wall, but he's also the one entering on Thermite. He turns this into a triple kill, and again, that really speaks into the pressure aspect of it. You are in overtime. Every round counts at this point. You need it to go into your favor, and of course, Cyber is the one that's leading the charge. Ian, it was the one that we were talking about early on to this. This is the player that you're gonna have to watch, and in this series alone, 13 and 12, 4 on the entry, 60 in cost. I mean, again, he is making a statement game yet again.
And since Faze's first invitational win, they have been trying to put Cyber in different positions. Sometimes he's on the entry, sometimes he's on the flex, sometimes he's on the support. And against a team like DARKZERO that's very good at picking off, isolating that roamer player, I mean, we're seeing him on supportive roles, because once you use that utility, you set up the site,
you can go out
then
and frag.
you can go out and frag. And that's exactly what they did, because even in those situations, DZ was set up for it, but at the end of the day, it's Cyber, and he was just shooting correctly. And at the end of the day, this game was a little bit about inches.
Absolutely.
Every inch matters. I know you know about that. And that was the biggest outcome why Faze was able to
How do I know about that? What are you trying to say?
What do you mean?
Let's move on. Listen, we've spoken a lot to the American fans in the building here, but it's time to speak to a Faze fan. Jonah is standing by with a fan of the best in the world.
Back in the crowd here with yet another fan, but this time a Faze fan. I tried to find the drippiest Faze fan I could, and I think we've done it. Arib, great to meet you. You got the Faze gear going on, and your team has now taken map 1. I gotta ask, how does it feel being in a sea of DARKZERO fans, being one of the few Faze fans out here?
Well, you just have to make sure you're louder than those around you.
How long have you been a Faze fan? All your life?
Since I've been following the pro scene since 2023 Atlanta, so before the Brazil Grand Final, so technically not a bandwagon.
It sounds like you're from somewhere around here. Are you from the US?
Yes, I was came out from Michigan.
Any feeling of betrayal? I mean, you got the DARKZERO NA team up there, and you got the Brazil team across.
Well, I'd say my favorite NA team is Wildcard, so not really betrayal, not at least not in my eyes.
Amazing. Do you expect the same thing from the world champs, a swift map 2 victory?
I'd say it is expected. On Bank, yeah, definitely. And if they do win the whole event, fingers crossed, I'd say maybe objectively speaking, the greatest team of all time. Maybe surpassing the Penta G2 era, at least to me.
All right, bold claims here with Arib. Back to you guys.
I heard some woes in the crowd there, but it is always great to see Faze fans in the building. But will it be Faze up in map 2? They're going to Bank. You know what? Let's be honest, DARKZERO backs against the wall here, Lax.
I mean, again, if there's any team that I think that can get it done from NA, I do feel DZ has the mental capacity, the mental fortitude, especially with their coach. I mean, he has shaped this entire roster. He's shaped a lot of the region as a whole in terms of just that sort of synergy. So I do think they can get it done. But again, what I am worried about is how much energy they put into that series. Are they going to have enough in the tank?
At the end of the day, the rest of the series is an uphill battle. Chalet on map 3, is Faze's best map. Bank, arguably their second best map. So it's going to be a matter of just getting those picks, trying to figure out who they can find the kill on if it's not going to be Cyber.
All right, well, Faze fans are hoping to get this done in 2. Those here in the building are looking to go to map 3. Let's see if they can make it happen. We've got Dez, Ace, and Mag reloaded for map 2.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chambers. Indeed, first map was ridiculously close, taking all 15 rounds. Bank, I get the feeling, Tim, might be a little bit more decisive, but I'll go out on a limb here. And I'm not saying this because we're in the arena. I think DARKZERO can take this in regulation.
Well, Bank isn't a bad map for DARKZERO.
Exactly.
Like, it's their first preference map. They're 3-1 on it recently. They are no slouches here. I think, you know, when we look from map 1 to map 2, from Clubhouse to Bank, Mag, what is it that DARKZERO maybe are going to need to do differently? What have you seen in that first map that you think maybe a little more of this or a little less of that is going to be the difference maker?
I think DARKZERO really just need to, you know, peek them at the entries and make sure that Faze just can't set up for their executes. And if they don't manage to do that, then they need to fall back and play the win conditions on site.
Easy peasy. If only it were that easy against Faze. We've seen them
stop
certainly
them
try.
getting in the building, Des.
But it does feel like it's sometimes like we've seen teams, you know, trying to break down a brick wall. It feels when coming up against a turtle team and they can't quite crack them open. They play against them when they're on the roam and they can't beat them on the roam. And your options start to feel very limited. And it gets towards you, Mag. When everything, it feels like you've tried everything to overcome what you're coming up against and you still can't quite find the answer. What do you then do as a team?
Honestly, that is the toughest question. It was a bit like that against the Twisted Minds, but you just always have to take the round by round. You know, there is no such thing as momentum. You reset after every round. You just take a, you know, one round at a time and just, you know, try to find the win condition in the round.
Well, let's see if they can. We're going to start things out down in the basement, Tim. And it's DARKZERO on the defense. Bank, one of our maps that does lean towards being attacker-sided, so I can't imagine Faze are too bothered, regardless of which side they start on.
Immediately, NJR is standing out to me here. It's a basement defense. We've got him upstairs in Janitor, starting off on the Valkyrie. You know that I think he's trying to play into exactly what you've said there, Mike, and that is take the fight to Faze. Don't give them anything for free. They get nothing without giving something for it, and NJR's job is going to be slow them down as much as possible. So that's something to watch in the early round.
Interestingly enough as well, Fault is sitting probably on a mute jammer at E3. They'll probably just, you know, see the Valkyrie getting Deimos scanned right now and just assume he is the only one up here. So really interested to see just how much, you know, Faults can do in this round if he is not droned out.
If he's not being the big part of that one for sure. Hope they get a stiff onto him at some point, but does have the support from below at the same time. On 3 players, of course. A good few stairways that you can work your way up on this map means support can arrive quite quickly.
Cyber has got himself into the top floor. He's supporting Souls as well. NJR has dropped away, so this is where we're going to get that answer. KDS! He knew exactly where Newest was. Takes him down through the softball, but just like you said, Mike, Fultz comes out big. There's no idea. Can he do any more damage?
Wow.
No! Handy manages to hit the deck. Faze always find a way.
3 shotgun blasts, and Handy still comes away with the kill. That is ridiculous. It would have been magic if Fultz got away with it, but Handy was never letting that one slide.
J90 goes down to it's now 2v4. I'm not sure what Kaino and NJR can do, but hopefully they can pull out some magic in the first round of Bank.
It's got a C4 and 3 smokes to play with. It's more the time that I'm concerned about. Faze, 75 seconds to play behind. Track coming out here onto NGR, who's sat ready and waiting with that C4. Sees, of course, the Deimos in response, who now is all happy. Souls cancelling away that channel. They've just got to play this slow, and Faze aren't the kind of team that will bottle a man advantage like this, Tim.
No, Faze have got all the time in the world here. They can now set themselves up. They can open those hatches. They can pressure. They can look for the gap.
And this might be the gap, however, for DARKZERO, as Kaino is just proning behind the table. Will KDS check this properly?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Oh, they'll see his leg, and now they know. That's such a shame. All 3 smokes going to go down with him here, but it was a nice attempt. He had to try something, but it's sadly not going to work out. NGR with it all to do. This diffuser is going down, though, and Faze surely going to close this one out.
Yeah, I don't see any way that NJR fast back into this. Manages to get one onto KDS, make it 2. Top-rated player at the event coming into today. And he gets himself a big double. 1v4 becomes a 1v2, but a big problem with that Lion Mag.
He's just 1 HP, so it could be a 1v1. if he gets a C4, but he doesn't, as he decides to go up the stairs. It is impossible to win on the retake if you cannot take upstairs control. I think, though, Faze will play it smart. They'll play nice and deep, and they won't give any picks here to NJR.
Not enough time available for him here either, unfortunately. Handy just playing that round brilliantly, surviving the duel with the shotgun, and then comes out at the end and gets the job done. Faze with round 1.
Honestly, I think, you know, DZ bringing a great defense, some sneaky plays with the mute, and unfortunately, just not hitting the shots where they needed to be. The smoke in server, the shotgun, you know, the 3 shotgun shots that didn't hit. They're playing some good siege, they're playing some good strategy. They've come in with a game plan. They just need to hit the shots.
It's kind of like against Faze, you can have all the right ideas, but if you don't execute at 100% perfection, you're still gonna get punished.
DZ will probably feel okay with that round because, you know, it was on them that they did lose the round. Their strategy is working. They just need to, you know, reset and keep pushing on from here.
This is what Call Out again said before we came onto the show. We caught him backstage in the chat, and he said again, you have to play perfect against Faze. You know, their strats, you know, are watertight. You've got to match them at that level and have brilliant strats too. You can't surprise them, you can't spring things up on them, and then you've got to be better in the gunfights as well against 5 of the best gunners in the world. You can understand why they're back-to-back world champions, Tim.
A lot of that damage, Mag, in the first round was done out on that roam game, not quite paying off for DARKZERO. Do you think the switch up to the top floor site is going to help them a bit here? Because it kind of removes that need to roam and control the whole map.
It'll definitely help out DARKZERO here. They just need to make sure they don't get picked on the rappels. It seems they have a good game plan here. You know, the Solus below to deny the plant, the Bandit to stop the hard breach, and unfortunately, Newers goes down first.
It feels like a bit of a timing thing. Obviously seen on the drone, Newers was, but Sol's in the right place at the right time, punishes him. This is what we saw a little bit back on Club, was they're happy to play patient in the first 90 seconds or so of the round and punish players on DARKZERO that are being too mobile.
They know exactly where the Solus is, and it's going to be a matter of time. They're just going to go in and spray him down. They've got him completely trapped. There we go. Easiest kill that Cyber's going to get all day, and it feels a little bit right now as if DARKZERO has got the same idea as you, Mag, that we need to take the fight to Faze, but that's playing perfectly into Faze's hands. They're ready for it. It's what they want. They're going in there and taking the fights, and they're winning every one of them. It's almost as if DARKZERO they're just clutching at this a little too tightly.
I think you're definitely onto something. You know, the droning from Faze has just been exceptional. Faults looking for some sneaky plays as well, and unfortunately it's just not panning out really well for DARKZERO right now.
Got a lot they need to get done to turn this back around. You know, dare I say, although that first round was well played, it was still coming down to them losing out on a lot of their gunfights. Being in a 4 versus 2 really punished them. So like I've often said throughout the tournament, Tim, I always use G2 as my example, the poor buggers. Sometimes you've got a brilliant idea when it works out, you look like geniuses. When it falls apart, you can look like morons. And sadly, for DARKZERO, I wouldn't quite go as far as saying morons, but FaZe are certainly showing that there are holes in their plans. Vidaking gonna fall as NGR gets 1, but yet again, it's a 4 versus 2, make it a 4v3, as KDS is down now too. NGR, 1 more back. Are we seeing FaZe lose out on a dominant round here, Tim?
How about this for a fight back from DARKZERO? Kino, NJR getting work done. The problem is they're taking chip damage along the way. Look at the side of FaZe. You've got Handy, you've got Souls, both on full health, and it's just so terrifying to play against this team of Brazilians. You pick any random 2. Who have we got to go up against? Oh, it's just Handy and Souls. What's the problem?
I was going to say, this was the big fight that was going to happen on Square because Souls was sat on the window. He was giving cover, waiting for Handy to be able to get in a spot to get the diffuser down. If Handy didn't win out there in Square, we're having a very different conversation. Here he is, Souls, the snake on his belly, recovering. The diffuser will now be in a position to get that down. Kino has to win this gunfight, but Handy has been on fire so far. A bit of chip, and Kino falls even lower. Final 30 seconds, and Souls not yet still looking to get that diffuser down. He's waiting for the shot sim, and sure enough, Handy completes it all, winning out in that 2v2.
I'm wondering now, will Call Out decide to take his timeout? They are 0-2 down, and just their plays are not working. It was honestly really good to see they managed to bring it back to a 2v2, but unfortunately, they didn't
We're just going to start
close it
going
out.
into base, kind of like Bulk already said. So let's go open right here on the mid site. After that, let's go back to the basement. Whatever base we want to call, I still want to make sure we at least waste time on the roam, though. Don't just give the site for free to the full map. Then we're forced to go back to CO side, Bulk. We need to do, like, just stack the utility. We got to shut down the low propel. They're going to keep doing this entire game. That's the reason why they banned the Oceania in the mirror. So, like, whatever you want to stack for that, we can stack for it. So let's go fucking open. And then let's go down to the basement. Like I said, we can layer. We need to waste time off that. and then we go back to CEO. If you want to cheese again on the 3rd round, we can. But let's cut out for these next 2 at least for open and fucking basement. Cut it out, and then on round 3 again, we go back for it. Just mix it up a bit. Don't try to go for the same one.
Yeah,
I heard. And then general too, it's kind of like you were saying, don't feel like we gotta do something crazy to beat these guys.
Yeah, no, we don't, bro.
Play together, get aggressive together, contest these guys, hammer.
That's
right.
Yeah, open 41. It's the 41 scheme, whatever.
I love the timeout there by Callout. They're going to stop the cheese for a couple of rounds, play their defaults, play the fallback strats, and then they're going to sprinkle it in again later. I really love how they're going to change up their defenses because at the moment, obviously, it's not working, but DZ are definitely still in this game, and I really would love to see them get another few rounds off the back of the timeout.
What I love about it is what he said at the end is, we don't have to do anything crazy to beat these guys, just play aggressive, and more importantly, play together. It's a classic thing. We heard it during your attack timeouts yesterday. Whatever you do, do it together. Use your 3-2-1s. As much as there's a lot of things in the meta right now that enable individual brilliance to shine, it's still a team game at its core. FaZe, comfortable with the 2-0? Maybe now. DZ can fight their way back in, Tim.
It's got to be now, hasn't it? You know, they're coming into this one. I think if you go 3-0, 4-0, to come back against a team like FaZe, you are asking for serious trouble. And right now, I don't know, I just don't think it's looking great for the North American side. I think it's going to be a real struggle for them to get back into this one. It has to start here. It has to start now. They're going to be defending for the next 4 rounds. And on Bank, you just feel like when FaZe get there, they're going to run rampant on the roam, and they're going to cause so many problems. So DARKZERO, they need a strong defensive half.
Really good site information there from FaZe. They know the whole site is clear. Will they hit it? We'll see in a second. And very interesting operator lineup, especially from FaZe. They've got the Blitz, they've got the Nook. Very annoying operators to deal with. So we'll see how DZ are able to play up against it.
Feels like Nook and Bank go together like bread and butter, just inseparable as a pair at times. And with recent changes to the DMR inside, it can be even more lethal. Handy, the one rolling it out in this round. As you said, there are 4 players off site, so there is an option to go and hit direct site, but the problem with this site in particular, there is so much soft flooring above it that the defenders can make use of. NGR, as you see him, with a great angle on the Warden all the way through to that copy window, but Handy has just strolled on through, and he's going to get that diffuser down. DARKZERO arguably playing a bit too spread out right now, may well pay the price for it, but that's a massive couple of kills. Handy has still got sight. I don't think they know that it's here, Tim. He could punish them.
Yeah, that's really big for DARKZERO. Exactly the start they needed after that timeout to just settle the nerves a little bit. Souls manages to get one back with that nade kill, taking down NJR. How big a loss could the Warden be here, Mag?
Honestly, the Blitz is down as well, so it's not that bad. The player to look at here is Handy. He is on site, and I still don't think they know he is here.
They haven't got a clue. Will get one for himself, was looking for a second, but they were both on beepers at the same time. They've managed to get rid of Souls. In fact, Handy is all by himself as Fultz has had a massive round. 3 to his name, and now Handy has to leave sight. Try and look for a couple of kills here. Isolate out 1v1s. Fultz ain't letting that happen, Tim. It's a 4K for him in the round.
Yeah, great round from DARKZERO. Coming into that, I said that was the one that they really needed. Give themselves a little bit of a foundation here on Bank to start fighting back from against FaZe. I still think on the defense, they're going to need a 3-3 at least. It's going to be tough for them, but that gives them something to work with.
Bank obviously also being a attacker-sided map recently. DZ need all the rounds they can get. A great C4 by Fultz, you know. FaZe were winning strategically, but a great C4 by Fultz to get them back the round as a Habana Valkyrie ban is out.
Why? So, I mean, obviously, a banner line you look towards here in staircase to try and keep hatches closed up. We had a couple that weren't opened the last time round that FaZe attacked on the downstairs. Normally see, obviously, Ace Habana come along, so it's also beneficial for the top floor. Just the one here, though, makes you think, well, FaZe will just change it up, bring a few hard breach gadgets, bring the Ace. It's not really a big problem, so why do you think here DARKZERO lean towards that Habana ban?
I think the Habana over the Ace is also a lot easier to open up the outside walls. She can open a lot more walls if you are attacking the top side. And also, unlike Ace, Habana is very strong on the basement side attacking. And DZ need all the rounds they can get, so banning the Habana also really helps them able to win this basement side.
Okay then, we're going to have this defensive setup, making sure all the hatches are done, T's are crossed and I's are dotted. Just having a look to see whether there's going to be that top floor presence again that DARKZERO tried last time. I don't think they will be, looking at the operator lineup. They're going to drop away from that. It's a shame, because it really nearly worked from them, but You definitely don't get away with trying things twice. I love this setup on the hatches that we see now as well, with the Vulcan canister and the laser gate on there, just burning so much attacker utility.
And the kites. Really want to make it hard for him, Mac.
The time waste is going to be really important for DARKZERO. This strat has got so much of it. They got to get the Goyo, they have to get the Irene, they have to get the Kaid, even the Mav. They might be able to get a C4 kill or a shot up the hatch while he's maving the hatch. Honestly, a really, really well thought out strat from DZ, especially with the Habana ban.
Well, Handy's not on the nut this time round, but it is more of the same. Try and be a little bit sneaky-beaky-like. Of course, the nut was more to get in towards sight last time around. Here, he's got to push his way up. He sees the feet, takes shots, but doesn't find his man. Now that they know he's here, though, it becomes a bit of a straight shootout. But he's in such a good position to win out in this fight. It's going to take some real effort. And I think here, J9O is aware that he's in trouble, so calls on a bit of support while he's running distraction. Bolt's looking in. There's 3 of them stacking up and trying to isolate onto one player here. He goes for the one, and J9O sure enough finds him. Great bit of team play from DARKZERO.
Honestly, a huge pick there by DARKZERO. Just having the control garage for the attacking team is really, really strong. And DARKZERO, a great retake with 3 players to pick up that kill.
It also makes me wonder how many of those Vulcan canisters are left. Obviously, the ones on hatches have been dealt with, but that's going to be one of the big tasks that you're looking for from your Twitch. Losing Twitch early in the round might just mean that there's a little bit of extra utility. They lose a hard breach gadget as well. Faze have got their work cut out for them here.
DZ playing their win conditions really well. They've gotten the first pick, they're falling back, and they're now going to rely on their C4s and the Tachankas and the Goyos.
Still going to get this hatch opened up one way or another, and sure enough, trying to play through. Laser gate, through the electrics, through everything. The Maverick now gets to work on opening up that one. So they will get them in the end, but it is going to take an extra 30 seconds than maybe what they're used to. However, they've still got 60 seconds to play with. They've got the server control that they need. No garage backstab, as we noted earlier on. So this is a bit one-directional in a way. For DARKZERO, it's going to feel like as long as they play behind their utility, mainly looking, of course, at NGR on the Tachanka and those 2 C4s, like they can hold Faze at bay.
Yeah, we saw Cyber going on a big rotate there with the Maverick, maybe an opportunity to drop Vault, but he's going to need to do it quickly if he does. Newers takes down Souls. We're going to have KDS pushing into sight here, but as he gets flashed out by his own teammate, a lot of damage comes in as well. Cyber damaged elsewhere. Kino finishes off KDS. This is all going in favor of the North Americans. DARKZERO fighting hard. 5 versus 1. Cyber, 20 seconds and no chance.
A lot is got to get done for sure, and Lacey no HP to his name, as you say, Tim. This one is over. Call Out is going to be ecstatic with how these last 2 rounds have gone. They were down 0-2. It was looking rough, but they played incredibly well, flawlessly, you might say, especially in round 4.
Such an important time out there from Call Out, and just DZ have just gone to that plan to perfection. I'm interested with these next 2 rounds. Will they try the rat plays again? Call Out mentioned it before, we can try some cheese stuff, but honestly, you know, 0-2 to 2-2, very, very nice comeback here from DZ to bring it back.
How are you feeling as a coach right now? You've had that tactical timeout. That's your big opportunity to impact the game. And then your team, the guys have gone out there and got the following 2 rounds, got level. You got to be right up there at this
You must
point.
feel like a boss when that happens, right? Oh, it's all me, guys. It's all me.
It's you know, it's a little bit of me. I'm not in there playing the game, but honestly, really, really, I guess proud, you know, just confident that we can change the game plan up, stick to it, and get the next 2 rounds. And I think, you know, DZ, they might ride this momentum into the next 2 rounds.
We sure hope so. By the way, I've got to say, Rage Bait Bootcamp, I think every team needs that.
Well, I'm just glad that all my players were able to do some content. I think, you know, teams should be doing more content. And
We love it.
I'm really happy the boys weren't afraid to do it. It was just honestly really fun to do, and also just a great team bonding experience.
Absolutely. If you haven't seen it, check out the Rainbow Six account on social media and you'll see that video. It was absolutely phenomenal. So let's see how we press forward from here then. As said, we've had 2 great rounds from DZ, and you're hoping they'll ride that momentum to another round win. Looking to be busy, got the traps on side of that Thorn that has become probably our, I won't say our most picked, but definitely one of our highest picked operators at the tournament, Tim.
Then will continue to be, you know, absolutely no doubt. I think it feels a little bit like we have maybe a few sort of less niche picks than we used to. You know, we do tend to see a lot of the same at the minute of those power operators, but of course, you know, they're always going to revolve with the meta, and we'll see, you know, as those shifts continue to happen as time goes on. But back to this round, 45 seconds in, we are still 5 versus 5. It is a top floor hold, and we've got Cyber already very quickly, Mag, working his way into Archive. Some serious damage could be done by the Demos.
So Faults is in the basement. He's trying to find, I assume, to be Cyber, who is now in Archives Tellers. So I'm going to be really interested to see if he'll be able to get Cyber when he starts tracking the defenders on the top floor.
Shield being taken away by the Flores. A lot of that throughout this tournament, of course, with barbed wire being as dominant as it is. Flores things only risen in popularity along with it to help clear the way through. Souls with the right idea looking in towards Janitor and off down the hallway. Only takes one tap on the head for it to all fall apart, but they've got themselves an opening now in towards Janitor and in towards CEO. So things are starting to get a little bit more exposed for DARKZERO, who have very much got themselves pushed over towards the west side of this top floor and saying, look, you want to open it, you want to play for a plant, you do that. We've got ways to deal with it.
I'm interested to see just how they're going to deny the plant if it's not Kaino on the smoke, because the defenders have been pushed back as Fault starts to slowly creep up server stairs. Faze, however, will start their execute, so Fault will need to get the timing. He does not get the timing, and Cyber knows he's here.
This is the opportunity now for Cyber, and he doesn't need asking twice. Handy doubles down, finds NJR. This is all going Faze's way. They've lost 2 rounds on their map, and they don't like it. They are answering back right now. 4 versus 1. It is all up to this man. J9 Nitro comes out, not going to find its target. He did take down Cyber, can start fighting back, but he's got another problem, Des. The diffuser's going down. Almost certainly going to be stuck. 1 versus 3 in a post plant.
And he gets to down. KDS at least falling to the floor. Much more to do though in the round, and such little time to do it with. He's got about 25 seconds to find these 2 kills and stick the disable. Both players scattering off at long range. They're using the superior sights. They find the kill they need. Faze breaking that 2-round win streak from DZ.
If I was DZ, I honestly wouldn't be too disappointed about that round. CEO, one of the hardest sites to defend. The Thermite opening that Janitor wall as well meant that they couldn't play in Janitor. So honestly, looking to go open area, I think DZ should be hopefully able to get a 3rd round on their defense.
Try and build in towards it for sure. This, as you say, is going back towards one of the sites they felt comfortable on. They can get the 3-3, things carry on as it feels like it's gone in all of our maps so far today. It has just been nail-bitingly close in all games, all maps. Couldn't really separate the teams back on club, and it's starting to build into the same here. But if Faze can get an advantage, there is a lot of pressure that then starts to build on towards DZ.
Just looking at the numbers for that top floor site here at Salt Lake, absolutely backing what you say there, Mag. 41% defender win rate. It is a tough one to hold on to. So like you said, DARKZERO, they just need to shake that one off. We move on, we go again. I said coming into, I think a 3-3 half actually suits them. I think, you know, that really gives them a foundation for the attack then.
DZ, one of the best attacking teams at the event. 3-3 half, I think they'd be very happy with that. Again though, Souls on the Nook. I'm interested to see where he wants to entry this time.
Sure, you think about the same thing again, right? Work your way up through garage, up main stairs, try and be a little bit of a backstab factor. See where that works towards in the end. And a curious one worth asking actually, Mag, as well. We had a conversation about this on broadcast the other day. The round for top floor, only really thinking about that one because of the noise, right? I guess here on the first floor, but typically we've seen some teams bring it along 4 top floor attacks. Why would you bring a round for a top floor attack?
Reloading!
I honestly have no idea. It might be, you know, to cover some sort of sound, but for a top floor attack, you'd bring a ramp.
It felt like a heavy investment.
I'm baffled.
Well, here it's fine. Cyber isn't baffling us just yet, because on this site, it does make sense. They still want top floor control to then rip up those floorboards, of which you can often do from outside the map as well, tossing that drone from outside the building, let it rumble on through. You aren't having to expose yourself like you would on a sledge or a buck to get the same outcome.
Yes, and defenders, especially on bank, will be playing in their Archives Tellers to throw C4s. There's a huge lobby presence here from Faze, sneaking up.
Yeah, they're wanting to just power their way through here, but that means they've got to punish someone on their way through for now. Not bothering to open anything up. The Soul starts his march up these main stairs. Barbed wire also taken out. That may be a small indication over towards DZ. I don't think anyone's there enough to hear it though. And Kino hits the deck and finds Souls. That's a wonderful first kill that you feel Souls really should have had.
Not only that, but he doubles down with another onto Handy. Huge play from Kino. He's the man on the top floor. He's there to waste time and to give Faze something to think about, and boy has it. What a problem. They're now having to throw more bodies at this, Mag.
Kino in these power positions doing so well. He's now picked up 2 kills, and DARKZERO just falling back to side, playing the wing conditions while Fault is just in Skylight, making sure he doesn't die. 5v3 situation, you want to be able to play the trades and not give a single pick back to Faze. Really, really well done here from DARKZERO, and especially Kino to open up the round.
It's got Jane, I know, who was for a long time still upstairs, is now backed away. Realising they've got a 5v3, just cluster together, don't take any risks. Like you're saying, Mag, they've still got smoke to play behind. They've got fire. They've got no doubt the bulletproof feeding information at the same time. This one should be theirs for the taking, but you just never quite know with Faze whether or not you can count them out.
I think you know that you never can, is the reality, but that ramp is now getting to work, going to make it difficult for DARKZERO inside the site, but they're having none of it, Jane, I know, managing to find the kill. I think that was on the vertical, taking down KDS. Vitaking knows that there's one top blue, and Fultz, he's just going to hold his position, bide his time here, because he knows that they can't aggress with him there. He pops out and takes down Cyber. It's all up to Vitaking. 1v5 becomes a 1v4. Stepping round into the site, the flames are there, not a chance. NJR using the big LMG, takes him down. Another round, DARKZERO.
Big round for DZ as well, because it gets that 3-3 split. Honestly, we've had so many 3-3 splits today, it's getting a bit silly at this point. Let's go into our halftime now and see what the teams have got to say.
I have my notes here.
Quick scan over, why don't you?
Quick scan.
I mean, it's just basically.
So what you got?
So
I don't want the bans, though.
We're banning Tube, and then if they ban Ace, we ban Smoke. If they don't ban Ace, we ban Azami.
Yeah.
Mid-side's probably IQ and EMPs if they bring out the walls now.
Yeah, especially if we decide to ban.
If the Smoke is banned, first thing we do the like the ISO square front minimal bullshit.
We lean into it. Now, if we see some shit like there's hard second, yeah, like obviously call it as seen, but like especially with that.
Though, setup phase, detach.
Yeah, especially during the prep phase, like when we're actually set up for the site side, like when we're getting the hatches and bullshit like that, should be where the aggression then. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
And if
outside that, fellas, like,
we
need to make sure we're staying detached to this attack app too. Compared to last map, we need to listen to what we're saying and make sure we're getting the right spots. Like, make sure we're not making the little tiny mistakes like positioning errors, like in that fucking gem attack that we had.
Yeah.
Like about him red, if we just get the shit in place right, fellas, we're gonna hammer these on this attack app.
Yeah. Honestly, just keeping it simple is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Just
like even on this defensive side, like, cause we just kept it simple, bro. We're honestly just better. Like, we don't have to overthink it at all.
Yeah. Exactly. Play together and commit. That's all we gotta do. Stay detached.
Be aware that o primeirinho vem chifitando, né? Pra tirar a visão.
Não, vem não, ele. Tá bem. Foi dando tiro, nada.
Ele veio de boinha.
Na manha.
Secretária ela. Área aberta.
Só para com bom.
O Zalmai que tu falou do CEO é pra onde mesmo, que eu não lembro agora?
É, secretária ali pro cara não quebrar a peça.
Ah, é. O cara vai ter Kali, né? Giovanni... Monte Azami. Monte Ibana.
Bora aí, guys. Bora.
É Monte. Montanha.
É Monte.
Well, I think Faze collectively said about 10 words during that entire time out. We did get quite a lot more, though, coming in from DZ. What was your take on that one, Mag?
Honestly, I'm feeling very confident DZ are going to take this map. They're locked in. They're talking about what they're going to play. They already know their reactions, and everyone's on the same page. Faze, however, said about 10 words. But for the 2-minute timeout, I'd like to say, for that second minute, you know, there is not as much to talk about. But to me, looking at that, DZ looking really good, I think, heading into the attack.
And casting your mind back further than being a coach, going all the way back to being a player, Mag. How do you feel about that level of silence there? Sometimes, you know, we see it in the tech pauses particularly, and it's always something I wonder about. How much impact as a player does that have? You know, you just sat with your own thoughts, there's, you know, nothing much to be said. How does that impact you?
I think it's just the foot off the gas pedal for Faze. You know, that dead air, that silence, it's not good going into the second half, and I think we need to be talking about anything at that point because there's just silence.
They're thinking about breakfast tomorrow. What happened before a grand final? I'm sure DARKZERO.
Well, we had a few cheers here in Salt Lake when Mav said that DZ may well do the comeback here, and then you're just riling them up a bit further in the other direction then.
That's my job, mate. I like a bit of chaos, what can I say? But DARKZERO, I did come in and say, I think, okay, I think they can fight a way back through here because it is their most highly preferred map, and they're on their favorite side. They will have the tools required to get this one done. Let's see how Faze do on the defense. So, as we said, they are the best defensive team at the competition. They will be no slouches and certainly won't be an easy march on forward. We spoke a lot about the mirror. They were running back on the previous map of Clubhouse. It's in the hands here of Vidaking on bank 2.
Kaino on blitz. I wonder where he will go for this attack. J90 has already taken up top as they are droning. The defenders have looked like they are just falling back to side here, as I think the blitz should posture towards the blue stairs to take that straight away.
Yeah, Mill looking towards the Sens as well. Like, you look at the lineup and you see the Grim, you see the Blitz, you see the Sens. It screams that they've got an execute in mind, and it means getting through the map in relatively sensible time. And this is why I think an IQ, you look at it and go, well, there's no Valkyrie on side, there's no Echo. Well, why bring it? I think it genuinely is just to help them move through the map that little bit quicker, because you've got to worry about the Mozzie Pests that are down. You've got to worry about those FNATs. So getting your team safely to the site is the most important thing.
Exactly right, Mike. We do see that Blitz taking blue stairs quickly, looking to give them access into server, make sure that they have that available. Does get forced back a little bit by the smoke coming out, but that's really not the end of the world. We're a minute 15 into the round and they're already burning that utility. Souls now with only 2 Toxic Babe canisters in pocket. There's no other real denial beyond the nitros for that plant site, and they are not always the easiest to hit. How about this though? Vidaking, they've got to move. Stood right under that hatch, and as you say, they just wait for that gadget to be burnt off, but do take the opportunity to relocate Des.
I do like how we've seen that tech quite a few times now at this tournament on bank. It's been brilliant as an extra way of just saving a few extra seconds, burning away a bit more time. And when you're really bringing her along for the bulletproof and for the DMR, it just feels like a little added bonus that you get from the Aruni.
We've seen the mirror on the default plant wall. That means that the attackers will have a very hard time opening that wall up and going for a default plant. So we're going to have to see something different in the plant situation from Kaino. He might run in the middle of the bomb site. He might go deep as the Sense Force goes up.
Well, not quite deep enough here with the Sens either as well. The smoke comes out and we'll keep them at bay for that little bit longer. 2 C4s to play behind to get towards that last 40. Utility not going to be able to deny them away for the whole thing, Tim, so at some point, Faze will have to step up and get a couple of kills.
Exactly that, NJR just hovering around that hatch there. I don't think he's too keen to drop if he can avoid it because they want to keep that vertical for later. Nitro comes out, it's not going to do the job. KDS does manage to find folks, but this plant is going to be stuck. Great stuff from DARKZERO on the attack. NJR, one from above, onto Cyber. Faze are going to have to go for the retake on this top floor, and this is just beautiful from NJR. Gets one down. Can he find the second? No. They've got through to the hatch. NJR needs to now fight for it.
He's done a lot of work though, Tim, and he's wasting a lot of time. Don't forget that diffuser is going down at the top of the screen. Down to our last 10 seconds here to get a recovery off, but he's found a triple in the round. NJR has done the lot. Him and J90 as the 2 left standing with the real heroes of this round. But this one going to be a bit too hard even for him to recover. Vidaking going to have to stick this one now. NJR can afford to drop now and go for it. It doesn't matter if he dies at this point because there is no time left. DARKZERO will pull into the lead. J90 shooting 2 C4s out of the air. NJR, a brilliant move over from Square, over towards Archives to get that cut on the flank. Wonderful round from those 2 players.
Honestly, this Sense wall's doing very, very big damage because you have no idea where the enemy is going to plant. Faze know it's not going to be on the default wall, and then J90 shooting 2 of those C4s, really securing the round, especially on the basement on bank. It is probably the hardest site to retake and get that defuse. So honestly, in the 4v5 situation, really, really well done from DZ to get the round.
Puts them in the lead. Huge moment for the North American side. They, of course, are 1 map down at the minute, having lost to Faze on Clubhouse. They need to get bank, or the dream of winning anything on home soil will be over for this team. Faze, of course, just needing this map to send themselves through to yet another grand final for them. But DARKZERO, best attacking team at the event. As we have said, they've been putting up huge numbers on this side of the thing. and they continue to do so. 4-3 as they get a successful first attack, and now it's going to be on to top floor. We've already said how difficult a site this is to defend. 41% defender win rate at this event so far for CEO. A real opportunity for DARKZERO here to stretch that lead.
Anyone watching here, we have a Carly in the lineup. Not an operator we see very much, but for CEO, she can get the castles, she can get the Waldenau, she can get the mirrors. A very, very strong operator for the CEO, and I'm hoping that she might get a kill on the long repels.
I think it's the same with the Flores too. I looked at that lineup for Faze and I was like, my God, that is a util dump and a half to clear your way through even half of it. It's more towards the laser gates and, of course, in towards those castle barricades that'll be down, the shield to worry about, electrification. It's like, oh my God. And so actually, I think having these two operators on side specifically, Flores and the Carly, as you were alluding to, perfect for chewing your way through this bunker setup coming out from Faze.
We also have the Glaz and the Thermo, which means NJR will have to go into Skylight to open that wall. And I dare say Glaz will be maybe in the janitor hallway watching, so no one can push up and kill Thermite when he puts his charge down.
Reloading!
Just burning time here. DARKZERO as much as they can, but it's tough when Faze are all over them like this. NJR gets himself inside of square, can think about getting that wall opened up, but Faze again just punishing them and making it difficult for DARKZERO to move. A minute and a half left in the round.
We've all been there, that panic. Have I got shot, but where from? There was no one inside the garage. It was across from that top floor. It's not from the angle that he was watching, but it's a reminder, Faze are aware that he's there. It's also going to, of course, think about Kino, who's playing on the glass. A lot of long range in this round from DARKZERO. They're waiting for someone on Faze to be moved into a spot that they can collect them. So far, they're giving nothing. Vidaking dangerously low. And don't forget, he's got all 3 smokes in back pocket with 1 HP to his name. He's got to be so careful from here on out.
Similar to how Faze attacked, they've managed to open up the janitor wall, which means they cannot sit in janitor. As Kino has managed to swing himself in, put a lot of pressure on the Glaz. He does get smoked out and get the kill.
The smoke that's gone as well. They've lost both of those canisters that he didn't get a chance to get out. Nua's into another. NJR makes it a third. DARKZERO really starting to cook it. This could be their second round in a row to kick this off. NJR deals with the flank. Handy finds one, but Kino is there for the close. DZ really living up to that attacking reputation, Tim.
Yeah, not only are DARKZERO starting to cook here, but the Salt Lake City crowd are getting on their feet, they're getting loud, and they are backing the North Americans because you can just feel it in the air at the minute. And so can Faze. They're going to take the time out.
De Glass e de Blitz, tá ligado? Então vamos fazer... Pode manter o cyber lá de lá embaixo e tal. O KD de Amai, tu faz aquela passagem lá pro PC.
Não vai no Warden?
Pode ser o Warden. E... Não, deixa o Soul Warden pra caso for alguma parte lá. Pode pegar outra coisa ali.
Deixa ela, então.
No bombo de baixo, cara, tá tranquilinho pra gente poder secar lá. A gente
vai ter que banir Grenade de terceiro.
A gente precisa do Souls pegar o shield no smoke lá e conseguir ficar um pouco mais à frente ali.
Mas vai fazer a mesma play?
Tu pega a mais e segura o shield do Souls lá também. Pode fazer a mesma play, só mudando esses 2 bonecos.
E seu?
Cara, o bombo do seu a gente só precisa de reagir mais rápido, pô. A gente tá sabendo o que tá acontecendo e tem que fazer o retake verde.
This is what we had back in our first half. 2 attacks being won by the attackers, and the defending team calls in the tactical timeout. Faze, if they want to follow trends, what we've seen before, now need to win the next 2 rounds back.
I wonder what will be Faze Clan's defenses from now on, because we did see, like you just said, DZ taking the timeout after 2 round losses and then getting 2 back. So I'm interested to see just what they will do. It seems they will do a extended setup with a castle on open area. And I wonder how much they will try and deny the entry positions from the DZ, because DZ, when they get the operators into position, when they set up the execution, they are unstoppable. So I think Faze will try to disrupt that.
I think it's important that we, remind ourselves of what you said after that half-time as well, Mag. We spoke about the silence from Faze, and you said it, as a player, it maybe feels like the energy drops, you're taking your foot off the gas a little bit. They haven't won a round since then. So, we've kind of got to keep that in mind. This is now something they've got to bring back into the team almost.
Definitely. Someone needs to just bring up the energy on the team, get everyone hyped up again, and make sure everyone's talking to each other.
Should be a big one. I mean, and looking at it, DARKZERO have also come equipped. They know probably the chat from Faze was, we're being a bit too passive here. We're letting them run over us. We need to go and be aggressive and meet them in the map more. So what do? Lion, the KB, and the Blitz coming along to try and deal with those roamers, suppress them, and punish those that are a bit too far out of position. It feels like a sensible response, at least as it stands, keeping a very close eye on where Kino's going. He's the one with the diffuser in hand. We saw Handy just manage to crouch walk his way in towards sight last time around. Of course, it's a Blitz, makes a fair whack more noise than a Nook will. There's always that opportunity to look for a kitchen plant, given where he's pushing him from.
Unfortunately for Cairo, though, it is Kino, sorry. The Warden is on site, so will he be able to get that pick onto the Warden on site? We will see.
Taking a little bit of tag damage as well as he steps on through. Now it's to back away for a moment, even with the phone call ringing out. First of the two available, the next one online and available for Nuas to use in 20 seconds. C4 comes out, but doesn't quite find his man, and now Cyber strikes. Even with all this information, they still can't find the man himself, but Nuas comes in, gets rid of one more, straight up onto the wall, as Souls falls as well. DARKZERO again have pulled the trigger and are moving at pace.
Yeah, and they are absolutely rattling through Faze right now, like sharks circling. They can just taste that blood in the water. They know that the Brazilians are there for the taking. Vitaking on seriously low health on the Soulless, such important utility for them to keep a hold of here, and we've got a glass in the middle of sight.
So crucial he finds this kill. He knows there's one hovering off towards Archives, and sure enough, the patience pays off! Volts pops off with a second, gets the headshot. DZ, they break that post-timeout worry of will Faze bounce back? The answer, emphatically, is no.
DZ really heating up now, individually. No reactions from Faze, especially after the timeout. I think DZ is going to run away with this map, boys.
He did say coming in, it's a map they love. Faze will play pretty much any map going, but it was a bit of a bold call going into a map that DZ love so much. They're one round away from sending us through to Chalet. But, Tim, we've spoken about Faze's Chalet so many times over the last year or so. Very difficult team to beat there. I want to say they've lost it once over the last 6 months. They've got 11-1 record on it. It's a very tall order to bring them down.
4 rounds in a row for DARKZERO, and just 1 round away from having that opportunity, Des, to take them down. I want a map 3. I think everybody here wants a map 3.
I think we're going to get a map 3, Tim, too. I don't see DZ letting their foot off the gas now. Running along into a similar kind of setup, looking towards the Snake that, again, has been in and out, I guess, of popularity throughout this map so far. Stepping away from the line with the KB. Either way, they want that information because they're expecting Faze will want to be a bit more aggressive. But given we're down in the basement, at least with the lineup I'm seeing here, Mag, it looks like Faze want to hunker down.
Faze definitely do want to hunker down. I'm wondering what the Wamai is for. It might be for the sensors, and I think it also will be to impact trick anything put on the default wall where the popped mirror will be. You don't usually see Wamai on the basement side, so I'm very interested to see just how much impact it can have on Cyber.
Also the Capital to worry about at the same time. I guess if you can strap those bolts away from going in towards hallway, potentially the defenders can sit there and still cause a lot of bother. Souls, again, going to be a big X factor. Playing on that Shanka. We spoke a lot about it on this site. Tim, you did a lot of digging, I remember, a good while ago. And you can waste well over a minute with those Shanka pellets if you manage to juggle them just right. And if anyone's going to, it's going to be Souls.
Yeah, you're looking at about the minute 15 mark. You could comfortably cut down from there. And just, the thing is as well, it does the damage a lot faster than a smoke does as well. If you do get caught up in that fire, you are going to lose a lot of HP. But the Tachanka is now essential because the smoke has been banned out. So this defense from Faze, it becomes really tough because they've got to kind of shape everything around, allowing Souls to focus on that job.
Can I say also great use of the EMP gadget there by Faults to make sure that their hard breach charge will go off. He's done it again, so really good counterplay already from DZ on this basement attack.
Like a game of chess between these two. Again, coming back to prior comments, it does feel like watching perfection in action. Finding responses to each other, always having a reaction to the other side. The final hatch going to get opened up. And that's a lot of the initial setup work done by DZ. Now it's a case of lining up for the execute and ensuring you can force these defenders away. Souls, they need to have a plan for him. He can waste so much time. We've seen backstabs in through lobby previously, up through garage. Sometimes even just utility going his way, things like fire from J90 will be enough. Mention the Wamai, he could save him.
With all 20 canisters remaining, Souls can do some serious work now to deny this plant spot, the default spot. So DARKZERO have got two choices. They either find another avenue, Elevator's Vault, Garage, so that they can disrupt that Tachanka, or they find an alternative plant spot.
We're going to see the smokes coming out from the Blitz, the fire coming out to stop the Tachanka. Will he run through the fire? Yes or no? They wait. Colts gets a kill as well as Blitz goes in.
Now he goes, both dropping in at the same time too. Diffuser going down and slightly off angle too. They're not going to be able to get the angle onto him, no, as the hatch cover is there from Nuas. Massive kill. Diffuser down, a 3v3, and Kino manages to get away.
This is huge from DARKZERO. Viticking moves out though, takes a challenge on the reverse angle through that mirror window, finds his man J90 taken out. 2 versus 2. Kino very low health as well, but DARKZERO have the hatches. That is the big thing.
Wow.
Are Faze going to be able to retake a buff? Not if Kino has anything to say about it. Viticking takes down Nuas, but with only 10 seconds left, Kino needs to pick the time to make his move. He drops, he needs to survive. He goes for the flag, he finds the kill. Salt Lake City erupts as DARKZERO take us to map 3.
You can't say it isn't deserved after a map like that. A 7-3, 7-3, dominating over Faze. Now they've got to make it happen on Chalet.
The whole place on their feet here, Des. They are desperate for map 3, so are we. We've got a short break, and then that's exactly where we're heading.
Pick up the pace, ain't no time to waste.
KDS, you took their map pick, they take your map pick. What was the difficulty there that you faced on map 2?
I think we let the team play the match. We don't do anything like we don't get the kills. So I think we are very passive in the game. I think this is the word. So yeah, I think this is the main problem for us.
And JR, you've been leading your team, leading the stats here at the Salt Lake City Major as a whole. You now led your team to a third map against the world champs. What is it about this place that is just powering you up?
It has nothing to do with this place, quite frankly. I mean, I think it's just the environment we have on the team allows like all of us to like show up and like just be present and be grateful for like our time together in the server. And I think that's really just it.
Awesome. Good luck.
Thank you.
The mighty, mighty FaZe clan drop their first map of this entire tournament here at Salt Lake City, and with Fox and Lax DZ had FaZe clan in their back pocket on bank.
I mean, they're no longer flawless anymore. I mean, they had a concrete strategy going into this, especially in their defenses. I mean, round 4 in particular, they knew Andy was going to be by himself. And what do? They send 3 people into Garage to be able to fight that. But then they just play back into their layers. Kino doing a very good job here, staying alive, holding down Red, being able to pull off a double kill here. And there's really nothing left for Cyber to be able to do here outside of just waiting to be picked off and have a flawless round. But then they go back into that 6th round. Great heads up from Kino, getting the pick here. Now, what I do appreciate, I mean, he's still holding his position. He's knowing that FaZe likes to double up, and they like to pinch all at the same time. He finds that double kill, but the beauty of it, Kino falls back. Again, playing into these layers. Look, once again, it's a 4v1. There's nothing left now for Vidiking to be able to do, and it's why they look so strong on defense, and their plan from Clubhouse coming into here was just falling back into the numbers, playing into the layers, and forcing FaZe's hand, as you heard KDS say.
I mean, the split was beautiful to be able to have it, but once they swapped to attacks, that's where we saw it just run away. I mean, a lot of it came down to the side of Fultz. He's jumping in on round 9, but pay attention to the operators. Blitz, Glass. It's something that DZ love to use is cheese operators because they know that FaZe is a very disciplined team, so they take it to him. I mean, this round was beautifully played. Being tied to a 2v2, Fultz doesn't just go peeking. If he would have stood up at any moment here, he would have got his headshot. He would have lost the positioning, but he played discipline, used that Glass, wait for his teammate to be able to come assist him, and that's when he goes for the fight, and he gets 2. And that was all of the attacks. We're seeing Glass, we're seeing Blitz, we're seeing Sense, constantly bringing these operators to keep FaZe Clan on their toes and catch them off guard.
I mean, you just look at the cost across the board from DARKZERO. I mean, everyone is honestly on the same level, maybe outside of Newers on that 60%, but everyone is doing their job single-handedly very well. They're coming together as a unit, and that's what we need to see here, and that's what got them the over the edge to get them here into the chalet to decide whether or not they can get to a grand final.
Well, I'll tell you what, hoping that they'll get to a grand final, we've got a lovely family in the crowd standing by with Jonah. I'm pretty sure it's Newers' family, and they are super excited that this is going to map 3. Jonah.
Guys, I'm here in the crowd once again, this time with Newers' grandma, Kathy, who's been here alongside his parents watching this unfold. I had a few minutes, Kathy, to sit down with you guys during this last match. It feels like, I mean, you're on the edge of your seat every time. I can't imagine the anxiety you guys must be feeling.
Oh, yeah, ready for a stroke, yeah. Just very proud and excited for Newers and the rest of the team. DZ's a great team. The whole group of guys is just wonderful. And Call Out, too, in particular, as a coach, is just great, yeah.
It seems like you know a ton about this team.
Yes, yeah, there's a bunch of good guys. I'm really happy that he's on this team.
How long have you been supporting him in this esports journey, the whole time?
Oh, yeah, before he was a pro. Yeah, oh, I've watched all of his games.
Is this the first time you've been in person?
Major, yes, yes. I just retired, so I'm able now to travel a little bit more. So yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
I mean, what do you make of this environment? I mean, this esports, this whole crazy experience.
Watching it at home is entirely different. This is just more heart failure for me. But I love it. Yeah. It's great. It's great.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.
Best of luck to Newers and all of this that's going on over here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
And best of luck in your retirement as well. Salt Lake City, make some noise for Kathy.
Woo!
I think we all deserve a grandmother like Kathy.
Absolutely.
Watches all the games. What a woman. How is she a grandma, by the way? She looks incredible. All right, short predictions from both of you guys for this one. Match 3, grand finalist. Who's it going to be?
I mean, we said that it was going to take a miracle. They're going to now Faze's best map. They just beat them on their second map. I think DARKZERO takes it.
I think DARKZERO takes it. Salt Lake City! Are we ready for this? I can't hear you! Let's get into the final map. Dez, Ace, Mag. Let's close this bad boy out.
And closing it out on one hell of a map, Ian, it's Chalet. I said earlier on, FaZe over the last 6 months are 11-1 on this map, Tim. If anyone's going to bring them down, though, it feels like DZ can, backed up by this home crowd.
The social prediction is favouring FaZe, but I've got to ask everybody here at Salt Lake, are you favouring FaZe, or is this going to DARKZERO?
I think you're confused off from there, Tim. Going to FaZe, boo, goes to DARKZERO, yeah! I know exactly which way they're leaning. Let's get into it with our operator bans to come out first. The mirror being taken away here. We've seen it as a ban and a pick throughout the series from FaZe so far. It being taken away doesn't horribly surprise me. The second one going to be the Azami on the other side, Mag. It's the double shield ban.
I'm very excited to see DARKZERO on their attack. They went flawless on their attacking half on Bank. So I'm really, really excited to see what they're going to bring out on this Chalet attack.
Got a lot to do for sure. You need a strong half here, Tim. Really, for a map like Chalet, I'd say they're eyeing up a 4-2 start. Of course, the scoreline don't matter as long as it's better than what your opponents get on the other side. But as we said, FaZe are no slouches on this map. Starting things off up on the top floor. It's a master and office start, and the defenders, Shock Horror Tim, are going to find themselves playing out into the map. Vidaking, especially on that Thorn, no doubt going to push down towards Library side. And with the Kai being available, they want to close up a few of these walls nice and tight.
Newers has been going absolutely massive for DARKZERO so far, but looking into this one, I think we're looking towards NJR, top-rated player here at the tournament. Coming into today, he's been a little bit quiet so far. Nothing wrong with that necessarily, but when you're looking for that extra 10% to get you over the line against a team like FaZe, you're looking for those superstar players. We've seen it in Ambi for the last couple of days from Shopify Rebellion. He's been super popular here in Salt Lake City, and you feel like this could be NJR's moment, Des, to put himself up on that pedestal as well.
Yeah, every player's got to find themselves going big here. I had a good conversation with a couple of others yesterday around, do the players on the side of DZ rival those on FaZe, given the accomplishments they've had over the last 12 to 18 months? And the name that came to my mind was NJR at the time. But Newers certainly making sure he's in that conversation. Fultz also had a brilliant couple of maps. No complaints overall. Early start here though, FaZe poking the heads out windows, looking to see what they can find.
DARKZERO going for a library sweep. Very, very good, I think. They're just going to make sure they don't get picked off while they are holding these angles. So J9 doing a really, really good job at making sure he didn't get picked just then.
Ooh. I mean, he almost had a chance there to find a pick as FaZe rounded their way through. And this is really what you see in DARKZERO doing at the start of this game. Sit outside the building, try and look to make players on the side of FaZe move, and you cut them as they're moving on the flank. Maps like this are brilliant for it because there aren't many rooms on the map that don't have externally facing windows or doorways. So I think you're going to see a lot of action outside the building overall. Once we're inside, that's when things really start to heat up, Tim.
Good to see that first scan going out onto the mute, but are they going to be able to get to a jammer? Yes, they will. We see that little symbol disappearing from above Cyber's head pretty quickly. So that will be the end of that utility coming in from Newers. Blackbeard on the window. Kino just going to be spraying in through sight, unable to find anybody just yet. DARKZERO taking ground pretty well here.
Seems like DARKZERO just slowly choking the defense out. As a nade comes out and misses, but a smoke babe also comes out from
the other side. Souls falls. Newers taking control of Solar on a straight march up here. Might catch them a little bit off guard. Vidaking getting rid of Kino on the window. A 4 versus 3 though, as Cyber's down and finished off by J9. A nade rolling on Ford. He rounds the corner, but Newers, I thought surely he'd miss it, but no. It's Vidaking missing the return fire. A 4v2, a great jump out as 2 players on DARKZERO hit the deck. Handy and KDS, we've been here before, Tim. They can bite back.
One problem for DARKZERO here is they've got one person outside. NJR, he's on the rappel at the minute. It's going to be difficult for him to get inside of the map. He can hold his angle, but the clock only works for one team, and right now that is FaZe. If nobody presents themselves as an option for him, it could be tough, but Faze have been pushed back to that piano side. Is there room for Newers to get in here and put the diffuser down whilst the cover is there from double window? NJR, he has to win these fights. He does. That's the first. That's the second. I asked for more. I asked for more from NJR, and he delivers in round 1.
Crucial position by NJR. You talked about he was a little quiet on the first 2 maps, but he has stepped up in this round and gotten a very important round against Faze.
So well played in the 2v2. Admittedly, I was terrified. When I saw it was Handy and KDS again being in a 2v4 and getting the first couple of kills, I thought, wow, we've been here before. They can get this one back over the line. But it was so beautifully played. I was a bit nervous for Newers on that initial run through. If he gets tagged down there, the round is over. NJR has to move from double window to try and recover it. The fact that he managed to get in, tuck in tight. I'm sure Kathy was very, very proud watching that one play out. DARKZERO at 1-0 to get things off then. Can they make it 2?
Faze on the defense. Chalet bringing a lot of traps here. They have the Thorn, they have the Denari, they have the Shield. And interestingly enough, the Pulse. I'll be very interested to see where Souls will want to get info for Faze.
That Shield is placed actually inside a library itself. I actually think that's a long time ago now, an older iteration of DARKZERO. NGR was beginning to popularize playing Jaeger and moving in and out of the box and in towards library itself. Faze here opting instead to go for the Shield inside, to be able to enable the Mez player to step in and out of that doorway, to be able to contest the window, and of course, up towards Ivy at the same time. It does mean there's not going to be a Shield, I think, at the top of library though, so there are gaps here that DARKZERO can look to exploit.
I'm just trying to think, what is the Fuse Shield for? It seems like they're going to go for an implant here because the Blitz is banned, so he goes in, the Thorn Trap goes off, goes up on top of the table and starts to get the plant down.
So smart because the C4's not going to find him either. Kino, full HP at this point and no one can challenge him. They've managed to get away with it and all 10 players are still alive in the server. Out like that, Faze are just like, what's just happened? We have been absolutely mugged. NJR getting the entry. Cyber falls down. They've got about 20 seconds to save this, Tim.
An absolute snatch and grab coming from DARKZERO there. We said it's difficult to catch Faze by surprise, but the North Americans, they're finding a way. Fultz with a beautiful shot onto KDS and such a tough retake because you have to deal with those players outside. Faze can deal with none of them and DARKZERO secure a flawless round.
Great attack from DARKZERO. I was wondering what the Fuse was for, and it was just the replacement for the Blitz. They executed the smoke, and of course, here comes a Faze timeout.
Lá, só que eu vou usar um pouco o Castle pra poder limitar um pouco essas plays aí de questão de boneco, tá ligado? E faz os caras gastar... Faz os caras gastar recursos nesse negócio. Preciso que você joga um pouco mais agressivo. Na play do bar de novo, a gente vai fazer o Soul de Arori rodando um pouquinho mais o KDS lá e tu te pulse. Fechou? Vai ser meio avançado, só que a gente vai trocar esses 2 bonecos e eu só preciso que o Randy coloque uma trap ali na porta do bar.
Tá, então na Switch
a gente vai fazer a peitada shit trap mesmo. Tá. E... Só que se adaptando um pouco mais para aquele setup recuado do animal. Fechou, Cyber?
E a cozinha a gente vai fazer o que a gente combinou?
Isso, depois a gente faz o que a gente combinou.
Tá, bora aí, guys. Vamos animar aí, porra.
Intel, vamos jogar um pouco mais agressivo.
Bora aí, caralho.
Bora.
Que bom que ele falou pra botar trap na porta do bar?
Fair to say, very understandably, they weren't quite as quiet during this time out, Tim, because things have not been going great in those first 2 rounds. The first one was close, the second one nowhere near, and I can imagine there's the fear of God in Faze right now that DARKZERO will keep on doing these tempo switches mid-round that left them completely rattled in round 2.
One question I've got about Chalet, Mag, you're perfectly placed to answer it. When we look at Chalet, it's one of the few maps, I think, that's got 4 very viable sites. Does that make it more difficult to kind of prepare for that as an attacker? Because you don't really know where you're going to be going?
Definitely, you know, the basement, very, very viable site. We see Wildcard, they love their tertiary sites. And if you don't practice against the tertiary site in scrims, and then someone pulls it out in the game day, it's a lot harder to attack.
So there we go then with the kitchen setup. Kitchen dining for round 3. Faze really trying the full gamut of ideas here to see if they can get something over the line. Totally believe they might have an answer here. My only worry, Tim, would I dare say it again, is they've got a lot of investment going in towards the library side. Even when they were defending library last time round, we saw the response from DARKZERO was right. Send it in through the window, boys. Get the plant down. Admittedly, with this site, you can't quite go as fast. It's not like there's a direct external-facing window you can go inside of for an immediate plant. But they could still look to go fast again here if they identify a lot of Faze are on site itself.
Chalet, one of those maps where you can just hit site directly when you do have the gap. Interested to see where Faults will enter from. Reloading! As J90 just putting a lot of pressure on site. They just hit the site before, so pressuring site again might pull the defenders over to that side, so Faults can take the rest of the map.
Drone active.
Clearance will continue as we get the main lobby door opened up. Faze are fairly static at the minute. They're not really reacting too much to what DARKZERO are doing. I think they've largely given over the library side of the map. They're happy to know, look, we're not going to contest that too much. Their main focal point is Office, it's Piano, it's Ivy, it's keeping them out of that area. They want to maintain that vertical oversight. They want to make sure they don't lose Trophy and Solar. So they've got a presence with KDS on the ward and deep in there as well. So Faze, they're going to have to hold on to this top area. If DARKZERO are able to breach that office wall, force them back, breach the fireplace wall, could be big problems for them.
This is why I think the Clash being on side is a really smart idea. We know that Vidiking plays it a lot already, but you know, again, the tempo switch has been the big issue. If you can slow down DARKZERO's attack, if you can keep the Blackbeard at bay because of the constant shield break that comes on through, that they're now looking to try and exploit at the same time. Look at him, he's having a little boogie out there, Tim, and sure enough, Handy's there for the step around. Great bit of play out of Faze. But the plan, it's going down.
Unbelievable stuff. Are they going to get away with it? Faults, I think he will secure this. Losing the Blackbeard, really not the end of the world. Faze took their eye off the ball while they were focusing on that shield. Souls manages to take down J90, but DARKZERO, they've had a good 15 seconds here to get themselves into post-plant positions. Faults holds on. Newers finds KDS. DARKZERO absolutely punishing the Brazilians right now.
And now they've got the Class 2. This is absolutely beautiful. Siege coming out, down to a 2 versus 2. Handy once again is left in a big clutch situation. Newers removes him. Cyber, nowhere near enough time left against 2 here. 9 kills between Newers and NJR. He may have essentially found the kill, but it wouldn't have mattered. There was no time left once again. DARKZERO break Faze apart after attack timeout.
And such an important round to do so. After the Faze timeout, DZ still brought it back and managed to get the plant down and win in the disadvantaged situation. We saw Kino up top on the Blackbeard, pulling the Clash, pulling the smoke up top. I was thinking, where are his teammates? They're on site getting the plant down.
That ban that comes on through, the Thorn, I think is DZ saying they're rattled. They can't deal with this pace. How do we make it go that little bit quicker? Let's take away one of the main trap operators that you commonly see on the other side. It does leave things like the Clash up, but as they've shown, they're actually using the Clash against Faze there. It's all a distraction tactic.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff so far from DARKZERO. I think, you know, you look at this and we all know what Faze's record on Chalet is like, and coming into today, you'd have said, surely nobody wants to play Faze on Chalet, surely not. But DARKZERO are so clearly prepared. It's like they've played a game of chicken here. They've come in and said, no, we're going to take you to Chalet because we are certain that we are prepared to do that.
Is this the first time we have seen Faze rattled in a long time?
It feels like it, doesn't it? It's crazy. I had a chat to Handy before the event and said there's that classic curse where a team could probably win SI as well, but a team wins SI, and the next event they fall flat. We don't really see them rise up for the rest of the year, W7M maybe being one of those exceptions. How are you going to break that curse? And he was like, we're just here, we're focused, we're locked in, we're going to do what we've always done, we'll keep on playing the same Siege we've always played. May well start to feel like DARKZERO are finding an answer, but I will say what I say at least once a broadcast. There are two halves to a game of Siege. When Faze get on the attack, we could see this become a very different game. I said a 4-2 to DZ would feel fantastic. They could yet get better.
I'll tell you something else that might just be exciting, not just to the North American fans, but to everybody here in Salt Lake, and that is that Faze, they almost always lose to the winners, Des. One way or another. It is an unbelievably common stat. NJR, he just keeps delivering more. I asked for it, and he's gone 7-0. I think he might have heard me.
It's not the caster's curse, it's the caster's bless in this situation as the castle barricades get opened. Great one tap to start off the round, and it's the smoke that has been taken out. They will not be able to know the plan, which means they have to get more aggressive, but DZ look like they are ready for it.
Like I said, it just looked like everything is going against Faze that possibly could. Cyber's also down a half. patience being shown by DZ. It's almost what we saw coming out of FaZe. Back on bank is just sit and wait, try and force DZ to move into you, and they punish them off the back of it. It is very much the same. Souls knows that off towards his right, one's moving forwards. A few toe shots, we all love a few of them. Down to low HP. Cyber also now finished on. It's a 5v2. DARKZERO are dismantling the world champions.
FaZe are on the ropes right now. DARKZERO are just hitting them with body blow after body blow, and it's a matter of time until that knockout punch comes in. Plant goes down again. Souls, he may be a clutch god, but surely not here. He is low health. He is 1v4. He is face to face with a Blackbeard. The time is ticking down. So little that he can do, and I love this from Kino. He's just holding him at a distance. He might lose his life, but he's won the war, and that's another round for DARKZERO.
What can FaZe possibly do? They're trying to get more aggressive, but DZ are ready for it.
Just in case there's any question on who Salt Lake City are behind here, they want to see DARKZERO versus Shopify Rebellion tomorrow in that grand final. NA versus NA. On NA soil. You could not ask for a better story, but then the big question comes, who wins tomorrow? That's going to split the crowd, Tim.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some split loyalties there, I think, but there'll be many of the fans here that'll just be happy to see somebody on home soil get the job done. DARKZERO, quite frankly, look phenomenal right now. They have found the exact right moment to hit form, to hit that pace, and to start running over FaZe. And the big thing here is, we don't often see FaZe with their backs to the wall like this, Mike. You know, the big question here is, how are they going to respond?
I just think we need some individuals to step up. You know, Cyber 1 kill, KDS 1 kill, Vita King 1 kill. We have NJR on 8, Newers on 7. We need someone on FaZe to step up to get them back into this game.
It's nowhere near at this point. As you pointed out, Newers and NJR nearly have as many kills. In fact, now he does. NJR has the same number of kills as all of FaZe combined. This isn't even like a good map for DARKZERO. This is outright disruption, dismantlement as they find two. Handy gives FaZe a little bit of respite in the round. This is only 40 seconds in and 3 players are gone.
I don't think FaZe will be able to do much here in the 3v4 as NJ is also sneaking up. No, he's decided to stop it. We're just going to have to see. DZ, what is going to be the next target? Where is the gap?
Sentry going to be picked up by the Deimos scan. Handy, they'll know his location now. It's going to have stopped, but it doesn't matter because everything for FaZe here is getting more and more difficult, and I don't think it's just about what DARKZERO is doing inside of the server. It's about what is going on in their minds, in their heads. They are the ones that the crowd don't want to see in the final. They're backing DARKZERO here. Every kill is accompanied by cheers, and there is another one. Newers manages to find Vita King. That's the pulse gone. Such a loss of intel, Mag.
Just feels a bit like this one is already a foretold story. FaZe not playing as a team the way that we know that they can. Every kill from DARKZERO, there is never a response from the other side, but FaZe will say, but what can we do? We have to play around the map. We have to contest. And the only way to do that is by spreading out. And right now, they're feeling the full weight of that damage. Souls at least getting one back, but it's a 3v1. It's 5 rounds in a row for DARKZERO. Not a line that I thought I'd say today.
I think we've got to remember that coming into today, the record for FaZe on Chalet was 10 wins and 1 loss. This is a map that they are unbelievable on normally speaking, Mag, but this is not a normal day. This is DARKZERO in front of their home crowd, and they right now are taking FaZe apart, the world champions, piece by piece.
We know FaZe are great at this map, but today DZ are saying, no, this is our turf.
Surely there's a chant for that one. Kathy, 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 Kathy,
Kathy.
Stole your heart and about to do so for the entire crowd, I feel, Kathy, because this could be a 6-0 dismantlement of FaZe on one of their best maps. There was a time when no team dared to want to play them here because of their record. If DZ said that could be the decider, we don't mind. They've come in with a game plan. Call out and the boys behind the scenes have been doing some insane work, and they deserve it just as much as the 5 players in the server.
DZ also controlling the pace of the game the whole time. They're starting with the fast plays. They're stopping, they're gathering intel in the mid-round, and they are doing some brilliant executes at the end. As again, we start off with Kino, throwing some Yings into Solasar. We have Glaz, we have Buck.
More of a bait, I think, more than anything else, because they haven't jumped in just yet. I say that. They've started their march on through, but the trade is there. Again, from outside, there is always someone on DARKZERO ready to trade off a teammate. It's not the same on the other side. NJR is 12-0. He wants to take away that 21-1 that we saw from Ambi. I've cursed him. He's 12-1 now. But you know what? You'll take it. A 2v2, now down to a 2v1. Cyber looked rattled earlier, and now he's going to win it. Gets one left on towards Solar. Kino has got 1 HP to his name. He could wrap up a perfect 6-0 half.
It will be a 4K for Cyber if he does it, and my gosh, what a shot onto the upside down rappel. Fultz won't know what hit him. Kino, can he get the job done? He's got diffuser in hand. He's got an age of time left available to him. That's not ideal. Loses a little bit of utility there as the smoke canister just bounces off that debris. And if anybody on the defense is going to play this perfectly, you know it's Cyber. He's not going to panic here. He's going to wait for his moment.
Kino's only got 1 HP to his name. Cyber about 50. A close quarters engagement could favor Kino here as he decides to wait. There is 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining as Kino starts to get the plant down. Cyber decides to push up. He goes into the bathroom, gets off the plant for the bait, and not find the shot.
Like you say, he's playing with the shotgun. He's playing close here. Cyber wants to try and keep a little bit of distance, and Kino finds it! Because of course he does!
Kino jumps to his feet at the end of that round, and the rest of the Salt Palace join him. Every DARKZERO fan in the building on their feet along with him, chanting, cheering, because they know what is happening, Des. 6-0. One more round puts DARKZERO in the grand final.
A blessing, you would say, for FaZe, as we've now got that hard-time timeout. They've got to recover this. They've got to win 6 rounds in a row to get to just OT, not even to win the map and make it to the final. It feels like it can be done, but FaZe have been in a certain dance before it. They know what heartbreak tastes like, and they could be about to get it in the cruelest way possible.
A team full of legendary accomplishments are going to need to find one of their biggest moments of all, and that is fighting back on a...
FaZe are wrecked right now. They are wrecked.
They really are. They're going to have to fight back
they're
from 6
everything.
down.
We call what we're doing. We go into the spots, pretty much the Miro spots, bro. And then we just hammer.
What are we doing first?
We're going Master 41.
I think, Kino, I think this time we can hit the Portuguese. We'll do it at 15, at 15. Get your strats up.
Are we doing any of the defenses?
No, Eddie said just do base.
Just 2 base, yeah. Just 2 base.
He said that for the bar, too.
What?
Yeah, he said base
the bar we are doing.
Yeah.
We can't do prep, he said. He said base was fine, though. It's just like asking him.
Okay.
4-1, fechou. Então, vamos prestar atenção nos backs que estão open. Esqueci, você já sabe os ataques que você vai fazer, né, Vitor?
Tem.
Já anotou aí já. Passando Black, fomos usar de Black. A gente pode sim fazer a teste, que é a pele mais forte agora, que a gente não faz um tempo. Da outra, só que lembra que os caras vão peitar focozinha. Então eu preciso de ter... Tipo, ou um cara pulando troféu, ou... Enfim, a gente vai ter que contornar esse problema aí. Certo? Todos os monstros deles, eles gostam de defender muito a cozinha. E a cozinha normalmente é o ponto bom de 4-1. Vambora?
Bora. Não lembro que eu quero ban.
The story for US Majors appears set to continue. Always an intra-regional matchup. Raleigh was G2 versus Empire. Charlotte, DZ versus Astralis. Atlanta was W7M versus Los. And this here in Salt Lake City looks to be Shopify Rebellion against DARKZERO. They've got to do one more round, just one more round, Tim. And they will bring down the reigning world champions. Many doubted them coming into this series, but after this, you could see how they could go the whole way.
Mike, in this situation, how easy is it within a team to maybe get a little bit overconfident and start to see that lead slip away?
It's easy to get overconfident, but when the crowd is on your side like this and you're up 6-0, a few mistakes are fine, because once Faze makes the smallest mistake, they are done for.
Wow, wow, wow. The attack inside for Faze, nothing short of perfection is acceptable. I can only imagine there is a little bit of scrambling going on during that halftime timeout to get the boys remotivated and ready to go. We always hear teams say, it doesn't matter what happens, it's just one more round at a time. Forget about the score at the top of your screen, but Mag, you and your boys will know this too well. You can't ignore a score line like that.
Absolutely not. It is, 6-0 for DARKZERO. This team has only been around for a couple of months. 4 of the members have made changes with call-out, and they are 6-0 up against two-time SI champs, Faze.
Okay, let's see what Faze can do on the attack. We know that Chalet is a map that the attackers certainly don't mind. Faze 10-1 coming into this game, their record on Chalet. There are rounds available for them here, but confidence and just sheer weight of support carrying DZ at the minute, because they are looking electric. Twitch drone is going to go into library, just checking out exactly what the situation is before they push forward. But I love this from DARKZERO on the defense, meeting them at the boundaries, Mag, not giving them anything easily.
You see where Mai also have the impacts there, ready for any shield play who wants to go in as smoke babes come out, grenades come out, as unfortunately J90 gets taken out first by Handy on the Blackbeard.
First one to fall and looking for a second is also seeing Kino hit the deck. Soul's almost going down to the nade as he ran on through on the back of that one. Cyber will fall. And now it's a 4v2 for Faze. I'll come back to what I said in that first half. There are 2 halves to a game of Siege, but there's a lot of pressure on Faze to be perfect. Fultz finding one back. NJR, who's 12-1, with a chance to clutch up. Souls down to no HP. Vidaking, I was about to say, struggling to find kills on this map, but Souls finds his man, and Faze finally get around on Chalet.
Faze not even really needing to get too close to the site there, Mag. They just managed to pick them apart.
Absolutely, and I honestly wouldn't be too disappointed with that round from DARKZERO. They still have 5 more rounds to close it out.
Oh, man. You can't have them win 6 in a row, right?
That number comes down every time, though, doesn't it?
It does. The pressure will get even higher for DARKZERO if they start to lose round by round, whereas Faze, they're about to lose anyway. They've got nothing to lose. It's about DZ locking in and playing to win instead of playing not to lose. That is the most important thing DZ can do right now.
Wargaming for round 8. In a way, I kind of want to see us head down to the basement, Tim, because as we've seen from both teams, the scrap has been in trying to be aggressive around the map. It's been always these external trades coming out of DARKZERO in that first half. From Faze, then it was a similar story. Lots of pressure onto isolated players. Bunkering downstairs could give a little bit of a different taste to this game, but that's not going to be the case, at least for round 8. More roaming coming out. We've got the Vigil on side for Newers. Surely not to the Spawn Peak being considered by him on the Vigil.
Imagine what a start that would give. Imagine the roar that would go up in this bit. I've got to say, I've noticed quite a lot of DARKZERO using the Stars and Stripes skin as well. A nice little touch, I love it.
I know what it means for the region to guarantee that there is a North American major winner to be standing on that stage tomorrow night. But there can only be one, Tim, and as we said, it probably is going to split the crowd as to which way it goes. We'll find out more about that a little bit later on.
Interestingly enough, NJR has brought the Tachanka. Obviously, if Faze want to go for the site rush, it won't be EMP'd. As actually, that's the boss G on yours.
Yeah.
Can he find the pick out?
He's thinking about it. I suggested that he might be, but they had the whip of him. You saw the drone that was also inside a bedroom. It saw those stripes around the screen that suggest the Vigil is nearby. And given how early it was, I think you kind of know what you're walking into.
We can hear that Dockerby call just ringing out as well. Faze wanting to get this clearance underway, getting aggressive. Has to drop away there, KDS. He knew the pressure was mounting, but Kino, he's going to be downed and then finished off by Beta King. So 5 versus 4 as Faze get themselves their second entry in a row on the attack. DARKZERO, again, fighting from behind. J90 gonna take damage as well here. They've just got them on the back foot here, Faze. DARKZERO are shifting quickly to try and just reposition and regain some strength in the round.
We're gonna have to keep an eye out here on Handy, who might just come up the basement stairs at the perfect time. His teammates are sweeping across the map. This basement fight between Faults and Handy might just decide the round.
Attacked Solus a couple of times now with the Deimos. I think very aware that Faults is the one that could be a bit of a nuisance to them, given he's downstairs. And now they may have to send someone after him. Handy, the one who's skulking down here, seeing what he can do. Can he pick out the Solus? Rounding off towards his right. Faze on towards the right-hand side. Surely now at this point, he's got an idea as to where Handy is. It's a 2v1 though. Again, a good bit of play. Coming out from DARKZERO, it secures the trade, but it's another 4v2 for Faze.
Unfortunately for DARKZERO, Handy manages to get one before he dies, and is now a 2v4 for DARKZERO. What can Faults do on the stairs? The next pick might just decide this round. It is 6-1 versus Faze.
Need to be careful here as NJR gets one. Can he find another? Yes, he can. He's going to use 15 and 2 falls. This could be the moment, Des. It's 2 versus 1 now as DARKZERO have swung the round back in their favor.
Souls often declared to be the best clutcher in the world, but NJR are 15 and 2. Faults at 8 and 4 is a lot to overcome. One bullet will decide it, and DZ, they secure their spot in the Salt Lake City Major Grand Finals.
What a performance from DARKZERO to get that one over the line. Faze stood no chance on Chalet, and it is mostly thanks to that man, NJR. Quiet coming into that map. 16 and 2 at the end of it, Des.
After what, 8 rounds? Absolutely magnificent. Speaking of magnificent, Mag, your thoughts on that series? That was spectacular.
Great close maps, and just Faze were 11 and 1 on Chalet coming into that series, and DZ said no, this is our map now. NJR said no, this is my grand finals. I'm going to be the one to make it there.
Look at this response from the crowd here in Salt Lake City. Absolutely loving their North American teams. Honestly, I have rarely seen support like it at our events. It has been phenomenal. The crowd really delivering for their teams.
Tomorrow's going to be a phenomenal game, especially off the back of 2 magnificent series today. Let's go to Ian on the stage, who's standing by for an interview.
Salt Lake City, your grand finalists for tomorrow night, DARKZERO! Fault, brother, you just absolutely cooked the world champs to book your spot in the grand final. That must feel like quite the statement win.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part, honestly, is that last map. Like, we were all just so in the moment, just living where our feet were and not letting the moment get bigger than it needed to be. And yeah, we were just a bunch of guys having some fun, and I'm super grateful for it.
It looked like a bunch of guys having some fun, and it looked like from the word go on Chalet, they were shook. Did you feel like they were rattled as a team?
Yeah, which surprises me just because I feel like they've been in some very big scenarios. But in the middle of that game, you know, we were saying some things I can't say now, but they were shaking.
Can we get a little sample of what you were saying?
Like loading their pants.
I like that censored version. Look, as the IGL, you must be so impressed and pleased with this team. NJR in particular, a demon.
Yeah, absolute demon. I mean, I would call him some names when I was playing against him, you know, the mailbox, etc. But having a guy like that on your team is amazing. Yeah.
Well, one thing that I'm sure that this crowd finds amazing is the fact that we've got an all North American grand final here in this arena tomorrow. Final thoughts on your opponent in Rebellion?
I mean, I think the years have spoken for themselves with this matchup. So they've built quite the narrative about us, and I'll let that narrative do whatever it wants inside their heads tonight as they go to bed thinking about who they got to play. So.
Love that. Congratulations once again. Salt Lake, give it up one more time for DARKZERO. We'll be picking it all apart and discussing everything that just went down on the desk